Welcome to the Northwest Sports Fanatics YouTube channel. I am your host, Orion. I got a great show for you here today. We got the Seattle Mariners versus the St. Louis Cardinals. We're trying to go for the sweep, getting back on track with a 3-game win streak as we have the Minnesota Twins in our sights. But we have a good game here today with Emerson Hancock and Michael McGreevy. So again, first pitch will be here in roughly 5 minutes. So let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get into these starting lineups. Happy Sunday, everyone. And on the thumb, on the left, one of the best center fielders in the game, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. And on the right, representing the St. Louis Cardinals, Jose Fermin. Now, we ended up winning a thriller with George Kirby on the mound, 3-2 in Game 1. Brian Wu had his worst outing, giving up 7 runs in the first 3 innings, but somehow, some way, we were able to get 2 runs in the 8th, 2 runs in the 9th. Leo Rivas ended up being the hero, and again, we're now trying to get the brooms out and going for the sweep as we have to go on the road to face the Minnesota Twins, and then we come back home to face the Royals and the Atlanta Braves. Let's see who is in the starting lineup here first for the visiting Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, catching today for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Batting third, playing center field, it's J-Rod Julio Rodriguez. Hit his second home run of the season yesterday to get us off to a good start with the 2-0 lead, and let's see if he can do it again here this afternoon. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder, Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, playing left field, no, right field, Luke Raley. Batting sixth, DHing today for Seattle, the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Batting seventh, playing first base, Connor Joe. Came up with a big 2-run RBI single in the 8th. Leo Rivas got the job done in the 9th. We give Naylor a day off since we got the Minnesota Twins in our sights. And let's see if Connor Joe can come up big here again in the lineup. Batting 8th, second base. And you know he's great on offense and defense. A fan favorite, Cole Young. And batting 9th, playing third base, Leo Rivas. Shout out to Will Wilson, for getting a chance to start yesterday and hitting a home run in his first at-bat. Not sure how much we're going to see of Will Wilson, but Leo Rivas stepped in late in the game in the 9th, and we got the job done. Let's go, Leo. And on the mound for the Mariners, one of our top 3 pitchers with Kirby and Wu overall, a 2-1 record, an ERA of 2.83. It is Emerson Hancock. And now let's get into the starting lineups here for the home St. Louis Cardinals. Leading off for the Cardinals at second base, up-and-coming stud J.J. Weatherholt. Batting second, catching today for the Cardinals, Ivan Herrera. Batting third, playing first base, Alec Burleson. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, right fielder, Jordan Walker. Batting fifth, DHing today for St. Louis, Nolan Gorman. Batting sixth, playing shortstop, representing the Lou, Mason Wynn. Batting seventh, had a spectacular game yesterday, offensively and defensively, left fielder, Nathan Church. Batting eighth, playing third base, Ramon Urias. And batting ninth, playing center field, Victor Scott II. And on the mound for the Cardinals with a 1-2 record, ERA of 3.29, Michael McGreevy. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. We're going to be shooting for 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Michael McGreevy on the mound, J.P. Crawford in the box. making sure all my screens are good to go here all day in the building. What's good? Hope everyone has a blessed Sunday as well, and hopefully we can get the brooms out and get the sweet bash in the building. What's good? 3-game win streak. It's a lot better when you get swept than, you end up getting a few wins back to back. I mean, we've definitely gone through, a few tough moments, throughout the season, going through 4 or 5 game losing streaks, getting swept by multiple teams. But to be able to get that game winner by Josh Naylor with that RBI single in the 9th, and then a Naylor home run in game number 1, and then obviously Rivas and Connor Joe late in the game, it's huge. First pitch there to JP Crawford. Right down the middle, 4-seam fastball there by McGreevy. 91 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Green Bean in the building, what's good? Anthony in the building, what's good? Garrett in the building, what's good? 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. No balls and 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Let's go, JP. O2 pitch from McGreevy to Crawford, low and into the dirt. Good eye there by JP Crawford. Curveball, 78 miles an hour there by McGreevy. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Cardinals. Pacific Northwest has got some great weather here today, and obviously they're in the Lou. It looks absolutely fantastic. Great baseball weather here in spring. 1-2 pitch from McGreevy to Crawford. Little slow dribbler towards third. Should be an easy out here for St. Louis. Throw to first, and that is 1 away. Down goes JP, but hopefully he'll be able to be productive later in the game. Next up for the Mariners, catching today, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, and on deck, who hit his 2nd home run of the season in the 1st inning to give us a early 2-0 lead, Julio Rodriguez. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Feels good, when you can, get a few wins stacked on each other. First pitch, big swing and a miss, cutter, 86 miles an hour, 0-1 count. But, there's always going to be, kind of that turning point game. And that was yesterday. Usually you're going to have 1 or 2 of those before the All-Star break and 1 or 2 after the All-Star break, depending on how things have been going. And hopefully we can really feed off that momentum that really brought us together. Even though it was Woo's worst start, it shows that we can still win even when our best pitcher shits the bed. And that's a good sign of confidence as we get closer to the All-Star break. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss, high and away. Cutter on pitch number 1, sinker on pitch number 2. No balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Jerry in the building, what's good? Trident's up. 0-2 pitch from McGreevy to Raleigh. Crushes that one into left field, out of play. No balls and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. And hopefully we can get off to a good start like we have in both games. If we can end up getting a run or 2 within the first 3 innings, it really does set the tone, for the Seattle Mariners. 0-2 pitch from McGreevy to Cal, high and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. $76-degree day there in the Lou. And we're going to have similar temperatures here in the Pacific Northwest. 1-2 pitch. Just gets a piece of that as it dribbles towards first base and foul. Curveball, 79 miles an hour there by McGreevy. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the first inning, 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Cardinals. We've already won the series, but we're definitely trying to go for the sweep. And we got to make up for Emerson Hancock's last start, where we obviously know what happened there. Big swing and a miss, down goes Cal, and that is 2 away. When we ended up having the meltdown by Mooney and Jose Ferrer when we were up 6-2 against the Padres, and then we ended up losing 7-6, giving up 5 in the 9th. We need to make up for that and get Emerson Hancock a win here on the road. McGreevy eliminating the first 2 batters here for the Mariners. Next up, one of the hottest hitters in Seattle within the last 14-15 games, Julio Rodriguez. We obviously know he started very slow with him, Cal, and Josh Naylor in the first 10 games, but it feels like the last 10 or 15, these guys are really starting to ramp it up, and we need it. First pitch takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, another strike looking right down the middle, sinker on pitch number 2, curve on pitch number 1, 78-mile-an-hour curve on pitch 1, it's 91-mile-an-hour sinker right down the middle on pitch number 2, 0-2 count to Julio Rodriguez. 0-2 pitch, high and away. McGreevy was looking for that punch out there. But again, we can't have 3 pitches and no swings and then, have punch outs. But Julio has been a little bit more patient, this year, it seems like, in 2026. 1-2 pitch, pops it up a mile. It's in foul territory, and that should be out number 3. Alec Burleson with a nice catch there, right in front of the Cardinals dugout. And let's see who is up next here for the Cardinals in the bottom of the first inning. Next up for the Cardinals, second baseman J.J. Weatherholt, who ended up hitting a home run on the second pitch. And obviously we know Ivan Herrera has had some success, obviously, as well. So, again, we have to be very careful on how we pitch these first couple guys, but hopefully we get good results out of Emerson Hancock. So, leading off will be J.J. Weatherholt. Batting second, catcher today, Ivan Herrera. And then batting third, who's struggled in the series so far, first baseman Alec Burleson. And again, on the mound for the Mariners, it is Emerson Hancock. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We're only 25 subs away from 23,900, and hopefully we can get close to that number here today. All right, we're at 21 likes, 79 to 100. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. And again, that turning point, was yesterday. But again, Josh Naylor, being the hero with the game-winning RBI and getting back-to-back hits out of Cal, Julio, and Naylor in that last game against the A's. Josh Naylor getting the big home run in the 6th in game number 1. That was the last hit that we got, but it was good enough to win 3-2. And then we had a thriller yesterday where Wu pitched one of his worst games in his career, giving up 7 runs in the first 3 innings, and somehow, some way, we fought back and won, scoring 2 in the 8th and 2 in the 9th. First pitch to Weatherholt, into center field. Julio is there, no fly zone, always reliable, and that is 1 away. Nice job, Julio. And that's much better than having Weatherholt go yard like he did on Brian Wu. Nice job there by Julio Rodriguez, as reliable as they come in center field. It's like having a Ken Griffey Jr. clone on defense out there. It's awesome. Next up in the 2-hole, catcher Ivan Herrera. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Dave in the building. What's good? 3-game win streak feels great. We're trying to go for the sweep, so that way we can get closer to being at 500. And honestly, once we get to 500, there's a good chance that we can lead the division. It's not like the AL West is crazy good this year. So, we just have to be able to go through these tough times, just like in life, sometimes, it gets difficult and you just got to be able to stay as positive as possible. But I still think we have a very good chance of winning this division or getting a wild card, no doubt. First pitch is low and away. Sinker 95 miles an hour to Herrera, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, low and at the knees. Sinker 95 miles an hour there by Hancock. 2 balls and no strikes to Ivan Herrera. And then we got the Twins on the road, which won't be easy regardless of their record, but they've been struggling, kind of like the Mariners as well. And then we come home and we play the Royals while we celebrate Randy Johnson. And then the Braves, they're very, very good, obviously in the National League, just like the Dodgers and Padres, as well as the American League Yankees. 3-0 pitch. Hits the corner, high and inside. That should have been ball 4. But again, we end up getting the call there. Sinker 94 miles an hour, 3 balls and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Emerson Hancock on the mound, Ivan Herrera in the box. And Hancock has definitely been the 3rd best, sometimes even 1st best, depending on game. And a dribbler from Herrera all the way to left field. And we know what happens when a ground ball goes to Randy. It takes forever for him to get to the ball. And the weakest throw that you possibly could see to go to third base, you just saw it right there. And again, singles turn into doubles, doubles turn into triples, and hopefully we don't get too many ground balls into Randy's area. Show some effort, Randy. And nice job there by Herrera getting a double to Randy, which is an automatic big play every time it goes to him, unless it's a pop-up. Next up is Alec Burleson, and hopefully we can find a way to end up getting a double play or something close to. Burleson has struggled here in the series so far. First pitch, takes a strike looking with a cutter, high and away, 0-1 count. Well, I would assume Legomena is going to be in their bullpen. He's not going to be one of their starters unless they have an incredible amount of injuries and he's forced to start, But again, I wish him the best. He just, wasn't really a good fit. But again, we got a couple guys in the pen that are just as bad as Legomena, at times. Sometimes they play good, sometimes they don't. Luckily, we ended up getting a good version of Jose Ferrer yesterday, but I wish the best for Legomena. But, we might end up facing him when he comes in from the pen, and we'll see how that goes. Burleson pops up. And nice job there by Luke Rayleigh. He lost it in the sun, but finally was able to get a hold of it, and him and Julio have a little bit of a chuckle. Got to make sure you get those stunner shades adjusted, but he ends up having the glasses on, loses it in the sun, and just enough time for him to come up with the play. Nice job, Luke Rayleigh. We don't want to give him any freebies, based on how this series has gone. Next up is right fielder Jordan Walker. 8 home runs in the first 15 games. One of the fastest starts out of any player that we've seen in the last 10 years. But he's been on a drought in the last 7, 8, 9 games with no home runs. So hopefully we can keep it that way. And Hancock steps off the plate to keep Herrera, grounded and honest there at second base. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0 here early. Runner at second, Herrera with 2 outs. Come on, Emerson. And that's popped up by Walker behind the plate, out of play. 8 home runs, 16 ribbies, just batting under 300, 278 for Jordan Walker. And he struggled in his first couple seasons. He was a very highly touted prospect in the farm system. And we knew that eventually he was going to find his way to be a starter. But again, got off to a really good start. But something changed within the last 7, 8 games and definitely has cooled off. 0-1 pitch, low and away, sweeper, 77 miles an hour there by Emerson Hancock. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jordan Walker. Mike in the building, what's good, brother? 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jordan Walker. And really, the main pitch we need to be, kind of keeping an eye on with Hancock. He's been really good this year, but it's that sweeper when he goes low and away, depending on if it's a righty or a lefty. As long as he can get that under control, we should be good to go. He's going to get a few guys to bite on that sweeper, but there's also going to be chances for wild pitches. And you just saw the sweeper there. Cal just got his mitt on it. Sweeper, 78 miles an hour. Because when he runs that sweeper, it's not like a foot off the plate. It's like 4 feet off the plate. He really tries to lay it in there. And as long as it doesn't end up being a wild pitch, we're good to go. 3-1 pitch. And Hancock regains himself and steps off the mound. And hopefully we'll be able to get a cheap out here on Jordan Walker. Yeah, it's not like we've won very many series, let alone have had too many chances to sweep. And 3-1 pitch is outside with a cutter, and that is going to be ball 4. Not the greatest start here for Emerson Hancock, but again, they haven't scored anything yet. And we already knew, how things can go with Brian Wu on the mound yesterday. We don't want a repeat of that. Even though it was an amazing offensive game to watch, you just never know what you're going to get with the Seattle Mariners. Next up in the 5-hole, DHing Nolan Gorman. First pitch to Gorman, and he always swings like Cal. It's like that very powerful home run swing. He's going to strike out quite a bit, but when he gets a hold of one, it usually ends up being a home run, single, or double. Got to keep him in check. First pitch is fouled off there. 96 miles an hour there by Emerson Hancock. No balls and 1 strike with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Let's leave those guys stranded, please. 0-1 pitch, throw from Cal, and Herrera just get back to second base in the neck at time, and he is safe. And hopefully Cal will be a little bit more accurate with his throws. We have seen him be a little bit wide right on the pickoff throws for guys trying to steal from first to second. And again, hopefully they'll be able to be on the same page there. 1-1 pitch. Low and away. Cutter, 85 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike from Hancock to Gorman. A little shaky start here for Emerson Hancock, but again, if we don't bring any of those runners home, I don't mind, a hit here, a walk there. But again, we just can't have those RBIs or home runs early and often. 2-1 pitch, foul behind the plate to the Busch Stadium bricks. Normally it's T-Mobile bricks when we're in Seattle. Cutter, 85 miles an hour there by Hancock. 2 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Bottom of the first inning, 0-0, Mariners and Cardinals. Appreciate that, love. 2-2 pitch. Low and away. 4-seam fastball missing there. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Nolan Gorman. Come on, Emerson. And again, depending on what happens, here shortly, Cal needs to have a mound visit. Usually he's very good on being able to settle these guys down, but again, he hasn't given up any runs yet, but again, there's going to be a point here within the first couple innings. If this continues, he's going to have a mound visit. But let's see if he can get the punch out here on Gorman. I think he can. 3-2 pitch. Got him. There we go. Much better start than Brian Wu, giving up home runs to the first 2 batters. And again, it gets scary when you watch, good quality pitchers or even our pitchers that are a little sideways with Gilbert and Castillo. Nobody, and I mean nobody as a baseball fan, enjoys seeing the other team get walked or getting some singles or doubles and thinking, damn, is this next batter going to hit a home run or get a big RBI? No one wants to look up at the scoreboard 1-0, 2-0, 3-0 in the first inning. Great job there by Emerson Hancock getting that punch out on Nolan Gorman. I love it. And that is the end of the first inning, even with a little bit of a shaky start. But way to bring that electricity on Nolan Gorman. That was big. Nice job, Emerson. And that's the reason why you've been better than Gilbert and Castillo. Obviously, Wu had a terrible start yesterday, but overall, Kirby, Wu, and Hancock have really been holding it down. And let's just hope Gilbert and Castillo can catch up. Let's go to the top of the second inning and see who's up next here for the Seattle Mariners. Next up for the Mariners in the 4-hole, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Now we know Randy typically is in the 5-hole, but they're giving Naylor the day off to rest because we're going to be going against the Twins on the road. And Connor Joe needs a few more reps. And again, he ended up getting a big 2-run RBI single in the 8th, and we got another one by Rivas in the 9th. So let's see if Connor Joe can get it done. I mean, if they're going to give Rev Snyder and Garver a chance to play, let's see what Connor Joe can do. And then we have enough guys in the lineup with obviously Rayleigh and Canzone with a more strong lefty lineup where we can get the job done. Batting second in right field, Luke Rayleigh. He definitely is due for a home run, as is this guy right here in the 6th hole, DHing the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. Last 13 games, Randy batting .320. Similar stats for Julio Rodriguez as well. 25 subs away from 23,900. Let's go. First pitch is low and away, 1-0 count. All right, we're at 34 likes, 66 to 100. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away, 90-mile-an-hour sinker there by McGreevy. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. Michael McGreevy on the mound, Randy Arozarena in the box. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees, but in the zone, but called ball. Probably should have been a strike. Change up 86 miles an hour. 2 ball strike to Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. He's been ramping it up lately within the last 13, 14 games, like Julio, as well as Cal and Josh Naylor. 2-1 pitch, pops it up in foul territory. And and just gets out of Burleson's glove as he goes on top of the tarp. And we got really lucky there because normally Burleson is going to come up with that ball in foul territory. Again, has been struggling, in the box, but usually the defense at first base, whether it be in fair or foul territory, usually is pretty good. And luckily, Randy gets a little bit of luck as that one gets a little closer to that turf there, and we were able to continue this at bat. Top of the second inning, 0-0, Mariners and Cardinals. Two-two pitch from McGreevy. Little dribbler by Randy towards third base and foul. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Top of the second inning, 0-0, Mariners and Cardinals. We're going for the sweep. Ended up having a fantastic game yesterday and a pretty good one the day before that as well, winning 3-2 with George Kirby on the mound and then 11-9 with Wu on the mound, giving up 7 runs in the first 3 innings, but that didn't hold us down. Pitch fouled off there by Randy Arozarena, low and away. Back-to-back sweepers there from McGreevy. Count now is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. Right hands up. Let's go M's. 2-2 pitch. High and inside. Almost hits Randy in the hip. Sinker 88 miles an hour. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. And this is our 50th anniversary of the Seattle Mariners. 40 plus years on the radio. Riz is retiring this year. Let's win it for Riz. 3-2 pitch. And Randy with the check swing does not go around. Initially, it's called a ball for a walk, but we are getting a challenge here by Herrera. And Herrera and Arozarena are having a little discussion. And that is going to be strike 3. And Randy is out. And Herrera ends up winning the challenge. Randy can't believe it. And that's unfortunate that we can't end up getting the walk. But again, we want to make sure the calls are correct. Because again, it's probably going to be something similar that's going to happen to us. And again, we want to make sure that, we're getting it called correctly. ABS has been a great addition. We haven't complained about the umps really in any game all year, which is a first. And again, tough break for Randy, but he'll be able to break out of it in his next at-bat. Next up is Luke Raley. First pitch there from McGreevy to Raley. Takes a curveball, low, but in the zone, 78 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, big, swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes from McGreevy to Raley. And McGreevy comes into the matchup with a 1-2 record, 3.29 ERA. And Luke Raley in the box, missing on that changeup, 87 miles an hour by McGreevy. 0-2 pitch. Fouls that one behind the plate. 4-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour there by McGreevy. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the second inning, 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Cardinals. Yeah, it's hard enough to get a sweep at home, let alone to get a sweep on the road when you're the worst team on the road coming into this series. So, it definitely would be huge. And it's not like the Cardinals were a bad team. They had an above 500 record. And if you look at the National League Central, it definitely has been kind of a shock, on some of those teams, especially the Cincinnati Reds being in first place for a majority of the beginning of the season. 1-2 pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Luke Raley. Come on, Luke. Two-two pitch from McGreevy to Raley incoming. And we definitely have to try to be able to get on the board within the first 3 innings if we can. If not, then it might end up being a lower scoring game like in game 1 with Kirby on the mound, where we ended up winning 3-2 in kind of a pitcher's duel. It definitely does not feel like it's going to be like yesterday with Brian Wu on the mound. But you never know. Things can change. Pitchers can go sideways pretty quick. So, but it definitely doesn't feel like it's going to be an 11-9 kind of game. Probably, 5 runs or less. And hopefully we can get to that 5 runs, 7 to 10 hit number. Because if we hit that number, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits, the chances of us winning this game and getting the sweep is very, very high. Considering it kind of feels like it might be, 3-2, 4-3 kind of game so far, at least. Just the vibe of it. But it could end up being even lower scoring than that. Hell, it could end up being 1-0 or 2-1 or 3-2. You never know. But I would like to see a few home runs and a few ribbies here from Seattle. 2-2 pitch here from McGreevy to Raley. And lines it into right field, right to Jordan Walker, unfortunately. and that is 2 away. Good defense there by Jordan Walker. Down goes Luke. Next up is the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Let's go, Dom. Let's go, Canzone. And it's great that, we don't have to wait 60 games to figure out who our DH is. And normally the guys would be larger than life, big arms, big legs. They would either get home runs or strike out, nothing in between. But with Canzone, you can still get singles, doubles, triples, and the home runs. Yeah, there'll be occasional strikeout here and there, but it's just nice to be able to have kind of a normal player instead of a Jared Vogelback, a Mike Ford, type, where this is someone that we know that we can, trust more times than not. And Victor Robles is, on the mend, and he'll be back with the team shortly as well. 1-1 pitch from McGreevy to Canzone, and a dribbler towards first base. Doesn't get past the infield, though. Throw to first, and that is out number 3. Cutter, changeup, four-seam fastball, ends up working there for McGreevy. Canzone grounds out to second, and that is the end of the Mariners in the top of the second inning. Definitely a pitcher's duel here so far. All right, let's see who's up next here for the Cardinals in the bottom of the second. Next up for the Cardinals in the 6th hole, representing the Lou, a great defender and obviously a player that you have to watch carefully for at shortstop, Mason Wynn. Batting second in the 7th hole, left fielder Nathan Church. Can get a few home runs in a game like we saw yesterday and can even rob a home run. Mitch Garver definitely had one of the more productive games for the Cardinals, even though the Mariners were able to get that 11-9 victory. In the 7th hole, left fielder Nathan Church. Got to be careful, honey, how do you pitch to him? And batting third in the 8th hole, third baseman Ramon Urias. And on the mound for the Mariners is Emerson Hancock. Trident sub. Let's go, Ems. Okay, we gained another sub since the last commercial break. Appreciate you. Only 24 subs to go to 23,900 and 124 to get to 24,000. That's awesome. Let's keep it moving. And then once we hit 24,000, the next goal will be 25,000 subs. And we're at 40 likes, 60 to go to get to our first goal. Xavier in the building, what's good? Angry in the building, what's good? All day in the building, what's good? Let's go. Twins on the road will be challenging, but I know that, as long as we get off to a decent start, on that first game, hopefully we don't end up winning just one or get swept. And then we come home and play the Royals at home against Bobby Witt Jr. and then the Braves, which is going to be really tough. They're playing just as good as the Dodgers or the Padres or the Yankees in the American League. And we get a nice cheap out there on that first at-bat. I like that. Down he goes, 1 away. Down goes Mason Wynn, and anytime you end up getting a pop-up or a ground ball on Mason Wynn, you got to feel good. Next up is Nathan Church. First pitch to Church, low and away. Change up 87 miles an hour there by Emerson Hancock, 1-0 count. Got himself into a little bit of a mini jam in the first, but didn't bring anybody home, which is great. And Emerson has been very reliable this season. Same thing with normally Brian Wu besides yesterday. And George Kirby is looking like our best pitcher so far in the early season. 1-1 pitch, fouled off right down the middle. Change up 88 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hancock to Church. And Church hitting 2 home runs and robbing Mitch Garver of a home run. Very productive, but we still got the W. One ball and 2 strikes to Nathan Church. 1-2 pitch from Hancock. And a little dribbler. Should be a routine play. Throw to first. And they say safe. And again, we have Connor Joe at first, so defensively, it's going to be something to keep an eye on because we know he's not as good as Josh Naylor, and also offensively not as good as Josh Naylor as well, even though he's one of the heroes there in the 8th, and that just wasn't in time there by J.P. Crawford. He looked safe there. Yeah, safe by a mile, not even close. I mean, even if Josh Naylor was there, that just wasn't in time from J.P. Crawford. We need a strikeout and a double play, or a double play and a strikeout. Next up is Ramon Urias. First pitch from Hancock to Urias is low and at the hips, inside. Tries to get him from crowding the plate there. Four-seam fastball, 93 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And hopefully Connor Joe ends up not being a liability defensively there at first base. We already got one guy in left field that's a liability on ground balls. And a little pop-up blooper right in front of Luke Raley. Throw back to JP, but he ends up getting back to second base just in time. So it looks like Hancock a little shaky in the first and the second. Same type of thing happened, but nothing came home. But now you really got to tighten up. And if I'm Cal Raleigh, I have a mound visit. He's already had 2 guys in the first, 2 guys in the second. Yeah, I know it's 0-0, but at some point, you got to get on the same page, with your catcher/pitcher. Next up is Victor Scott II, and we desperately need a double play here. Give me that slow dribbler right up the middle to JP, throw to Connor Joe. We get out of the inning unscathed, just like in the first. We're not going to ask for too many double plays from the sports gods. Maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times at the most in a game. But this would be a really good opportunity to take advantage of that. And we got a batter that could put us in that position. First pitch, low and away, cutter 84 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Sinker 94 miles an hour there by Hancock. 2 balls and no strikes with runners at first and second and 1 out. Bottom of the second inning, 0-0 here early between the Mariners and the Cardinals. But, and there we go. There's the mound visit. And again, I know this team, as good as almost anybody. There's a lot of you that are in the room that watch games, obviously with me, and obviously, have watched games even prior for me having this channel, and again, you start to get kind of a feel, with certain guys, and some catchers are just going to let a guy go. They're not going to really have the mound visit. But again, Cal is one of the, better leaders in baseball. And it's nice to be able to have another manager on the field at all times. And again, he's been shaky. Got to get back on track here so that way we don't end up being down 1-2-3-0 here in the second. And again, good, nice words of encouragement. Cal's never going to be really a yeller, and just trying to calm him down. And a little dribbler up the middle. Give me that double play. Give it to me. Yes! And my ESP is on point, baby. You ask for the double play, you get the double play. You ask for the mound visit from Cal, you get it. Sports gods, they are locked in. Let's go. Big opportunity there for the Mariner defense. I love it. End of the second inning, 0-0 here between the Mariners and the Cardinals. And that won't be the first time, and the last time that we predict something happening here on the channel. We love it here. Rick Riz loves it. Great defense. Runners at first and second, nothing in the first. Runners at first and second, nothing in the second. Now let's see if we can get on the board and take the lead. I love it. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Next up for the Mariners in the 7-hole, one of the heroes that had a 2-run RBI single, first baseman Connor Joe. Let's go, Connor. Batting second, one of the Seattle Mariner, probably most fan favorite, a guy that can play defense and offense. We love that. Second baseman Cole Young. Let's go, Cole. You've been ripping it up lately. You're going to have a few times where you go 0 for 4, 0 for 5, but usually only 1 or 2 games before you really get back locked and loaded. We love you, Cole Young. And batting third, the hero last night that ended up getting the 2-run RBI single in the 9th inning, third baseman Leo Rivas. And he did that against the Cardinals last year in extra innings, if you remember. Nice job, Leo Rivas. Now, he's still looking for his first home run of the season. And you never know what kind of magic we might be able to get here tonight. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Again, 2 more subs since the last commercial break, 22 to get to 23,900. Appreciate you. $46 likes, 54 to 100. First pitch takes a strike looking right down the middle. Sweeper, 80 miles an hour, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch takes another strike looking down the middle. A sinker this time around, 89 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes to Connor Joe. And again, we'll ask the sports gods for a little assistance, with some double plays, big punch outs, RBI and home run opportunities. And, more times than not, we'll be able to, correctly predict things that happen, 1, 2, 3, sometimes even 4 or 5 times in a game. And I'm just really happy that we were able to get that big double play because Hancock has been a little shaky. 1-2 pitch from McGreevy to Joe. Low and away. First 2 pitches right down the middle. Last 2 pitches low and away with a slider and a sweeper missing. 81 miles an hour and 82 miles an hour. Now we got a 2-ball, 2-strike count here on Connor Joe. Let's see if we can get a single from Connor Joe or potentially a walk. 2-2 pitch. Ends up having a slow dribbler towards third base and foul. And it's nice to be able to see kind of our lower end guys step up. Connor Joe, Mitch Garver, Rob Refsnyder, all those guys have made plays within the last few games. And what about our guy, Will Wilson, coming up from the Tacoma Rainiers and hitting a home run in his first at-bat? That was amazing. But we're still waiting for Brendan Donovan, and hopefully we get him back in the Twin Series. And if he's not ready by then obviously, hopefully by the Royal Series at home. And that is strike 3. Connor Joe takes that strike looking, and that is 1 away. And hopefully Joe will be able to get on base at least once this game. Giving Josh Naylor a well-deserved day off as we get ready for the Twins. Next up in the 8-hole, second baseman extraordinaire, offense and defense, Cole Young. First pitch, low and away, takes a strike looking with a curveball, 77 miles an hour. Outside of the zone, if he challenged, it probably would be a ball, but it is 0-1 count. McGreevy on the mound, Young in the box. Top of the 3rd inning, 0-0 here early. And Young with a nice base knock into shallow left field. And Young is aggressive, going for 2. And out by a mile. Gosh, Cole, what were you doing? I get it, trying to be aggressive since we don't have, that many opportunities yet. That was going to be the first hit for the Mariners. But again, that was not a wise decision on trying to, turn a single into a double. Should have just kept that a single. And I'm not really sure why we're reviewing this. Well, let's take a quick peek at it. So it looks like the first initial tag, he might have missed him, but then he does go off the plate, and then he gets tagged, and then he puts his foot on the bag, so he is out. Tough break there. Should have just been patient, and again, to be able to decide when to go and when not, and that's our first hit of the game, and it's in the 3rd inning, so I don't mind the aggressiveness most times, but that just wasn't a good decision there, and hopefully Cole will learn from that. Next up is Leo Rivas. First pitch is high and away, 1-0 count. Especially if this ends up being kind of like a pitcher's duel, like in game number 1 with George Kirby, if it ends up being a 3-2 score, hell, it might only be a 1-0, 2-1 kind of game. So we want to make sure we're maximizing every guy that gets a hit. 1 ball and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. Nice job there by Cole Young. But again, running the bags, as a young player, you got to be able to know when to go and when to stay. 1-1 pitch, low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. But that's not, often that Cole does that. I mean, how many times has Cole tried to, turn a single into a double and get thrown out? Maybe once or twice this season. So it's not like he is a repeat offender of that. 2-1 pitch, hard hit ball there to shallow center field by Leo Rivas. And that's an easy out there for Victor Scott II. And that is out number 3. So having a tough time kind of getting things going. We got our first hit of the game, so we're off the schneid there. Pitching has been a little sideways. Hancock's on a 3-hitter right now, but the game is 0-0. So again, at some point, something's going to open up, whether it's with the starters, with McGreevy and Hancock, or the bullpen. But again, a little bit of a underwhelming inning there, after Cole Young ended up getting that single that, tried to turn into a double and got thrown out. But I still feel very confident that we can get the brooms and get this sweep. Now let's see who's up next here in the bottom of the third for the St. Louis Cardinals. Back at the top of the order, 0 for 1, second baseman J.J. Weatherholt. Batting second, 1 for 1, catcher Ivan Herrera. And batting third, 0 for 1 in the 3-hole, first baseman Alec Burleson. Trident's up. Let's go, M. 22 subs to go to 23,900. All right, we're at 52 likes, 48 to 100, and we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Help us get to 100 likes, 100 on that dono train. And 5 to 15 subs. Let's get it, baby. Bottom of the third inning, 0-0, Mariners and Cardinals. Let's win it for Riz, baby. Let's go. Hancock on the mound. J.J. Weatherholt, the up-and-coming stud, in the box. Time is called. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Definitely feels like it could end up being a lower scoring game. But again, if Hancock would have had a mini meltdown, in the first and second inning with runners at first and second in both innings, hell, we could easily be down 3-0 right now. So again, I'm glad we were able to get that big double play and get out of the jam in the first as well. But again, we got to be able to get some runs on the board. First pitch is low and away. Sweeper, 82 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Weatherholt fouls that one into foul territory. And just can't find that ball. Leo Ribas, as it gets deflected off the netting there off third base. And that ends up being foul. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.J. Weatherholt. One pitch. And a hard hit ball there into deep right field. Oh! And that one goes over Luke Raley's head. And J.J. Weatherholt homers again. 375 feet. Good effort there by Luke Raley. Now, if that was Rob Refsnyder, maybe he robs it. But again, J.J. Weatherholt is a guy that you got to be very careful on how you pitch to. He's an up-and-coming stud. 1-0 Cardinals. Next up, in the 2-hole, catcher Ivan Herrera. And hopefully that's the only run that gets scored this inning. Good effort by Luke Raley. It's not like he didn't try. He tried to time it, jumped into the wall. But again, even with his glove extended a foot over the wall, it went, quite a bit over. There was just no chance. And even if Rob Refsnyder was out there, or even if it was Julio, there's no chance on that ball. It was just too deep. First pitch from Hancock to Herrera. Takes a strike looking low and at the knees, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. I believe that was that sweeper that I was talking about at the beginning of the game. Goes 5 feet off the plate. Cal can't even get a mitt on it. And now it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Ivan Herrera. Hancock definitely looking a little bit wild here in this start. 1-1 pitch, low and at the knees. Sinker, 94 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ivan Herrera. And a little dribbler there towards third and foul. And, this might be a little bit of a carryover effect from his last start where he pitched great. We had a 6-2 lead. And then Mooney and Ferrer gave up 5 runs in the 9th, and we ended up losing 7-6 to the Padres. He was fantastic in that start. But again, not only is pitching physical, but there's also a mental side of baseball. And again, just hasn't really looked that good so far. But also you got to give credit, to the Cardinal hitters, to be able to kind of figure out the Mariner pitchers, up to this point, even though we've been able to win the first 2 games in the series. But he has been all over the place. Not a lot of pitches in the strike zone early here. 2-2 pitch and gets strike 3 on Herrera. That's big. But it only feels like maybe 20% of the pitches so far are strikes, or at least in the strike zone. So again, unless we can keep getting a bunch of double plays, pop-ups, and ground outs, again, it's going to be tough. Next up is Alec Burleson. Hawks in the building. What's good? First pitch, takes a strike, looking low and away. Sinker, 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. But that springboard win that we needed after winning against the A's with Josh Naylor's game-winning RBI in Game 1 of this series with Naylor's home run, it gives us confidence to know that, even when we're down, we can still win games. And even when our best pitcher shits the bed, we can win games and come back. Little slow dribbler, toe tap on the bag, flip there to Hancock, and that is 2 away. Yeah, back-to-back games at 11:15 a.m. Pacific time. Obviously, very early for us here on the West Coast. But again, sometimes when we play teams on the East Coast, we're going to have games here on the channel at like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. So next up is Jordan Walker. So they have 4 hits so far. We had 2 runners at first, 2 runners in the second, but we left him stranded with a double play there, which was huge. And then J.J. Weatherholt just homered moments ago, 375 feet over Luke Raley. So it could be a lot worse right now. We could be down 4-0. So again, 1-0 stings, but nothing that we can't come back from. First pitch in there to Jordan Walker, in there for a strike looking, 0-1 count. Nice sinker, 95 miles an hour. 0-1 pitch, sinker again, high and away, on the line, but not getting the call. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jordan Walker. And also being down a majority of that game, we had the 2-0 lead. They tied it 2-2 with back-to-back home runs. Then we had the 4-2 lead with the Will Wilson homer with Garver on board. And then it went to 4-3, and then we were down that whole game. Little dribbler towards third, throw to first, and he is safe. Obviously, Leo Rivas has a AAA arm, not a pro arm. It definitely, when you watch him throw, he really tries to throw lasers there to first, but he is a AAA player. He was the hero last night in the bottom of the 9th, but I can't wait for Brandon Donovan to be back at third base. Definitely a better defender and a better hitter overall, even though he's playing a new position this year. And you got to give Jordan Walker some credit. He actually hustles for a big guy. Randy Arozarena, take note. When you hustle, good things happen. First pitch to Nolan Gorman, takes a strike looking high and away. Cutter, 86 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Yeah, definitely feels more of a vibe of Game 1 when we won 3-2, except instead of, Hancock being like Kirby and being pretty much lights out for the majority, Hancock looking a little shaky here. And then a ground ball here off third base, rolling to Randy. We know what happens there. And look at this weak little infield toss, like he's playing, T-ball out there. Come on, my guy. Nice hit there by Nolan Gorman, and now they got runners at first and third with 2 outs. We already had 1 mound visit by Cal. Then we ended up getting the double play shortly, which we predicted here on the channel. But now we got to find a way to get Mason Wynn out here. Strikeout, pop-up, ground out. We have to keep it 1-0 Cardinals. We don't want to get down by, more than 3 runs. We got to keep it within 1 or 2 before we get our first run on the board. But we're on a 3-game win streak, maybe the best game of the year last night, one of the, and again, to be able to get that victory was huge. 1-0 pitch, takes a big swing and a miss, high and away, cutter, 86 miles an hour there by Hancock to Mason Wynn. 1 ball and 1 strike with runners on the corners at first and third and 2 outs in the bottom of the third. 1-1 pitch, fouls that one off right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mason Wynn. He's a crafty hitter. Got to be careful on how you throw to him. 1-1 pitch, little slow dribbler, and that is foul. Just got to keep these runners stranded at first and third. But Hancock not looking very good. It's not as bad as Brian Wu, but he's already given up 6 hits. And if some of those hits would have connected, prior to the Weatherholt home run, it's realistically, we could be down 3-4-0 right now. So we got a little bit lucky with that double play and, getting out of the jam in the first, but he's already given up 6 hits, which is not good. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, but he's able to stop the bleeding, so to speak. Big punch out on Wynn. Normally he comes up big on that first and third situation. And even though Hancock has given up 6 hits, only 1 run has come aboard, giving us a chance to be able to tie this up or take the lead as we go to the top of the 4th inning. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. I mean, it's not always going to be pretty, but again, if you can stop the bleeding as much as possible, you're still going to have a chance. End of the 3rd, 1-0 Cardinals. They got 6 hits, and then obviously J.J. Weatherholt, who homered yesterday on Brian Wu, keeps his hot streak alive. Homer to right center. Luke Raley jumped for it, but just over his head, 375 feet. And again, in a game that could be 3-4, 5-0, we have to be pleasantly happy that it's only 1-0 right now. We only have 1 hit, which Cole Young ended up trying to stretch a single into a double and got thrown out. We got to be smarter than that, especially with only 1 hit so far. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. We definitely need a home run like Weatherholt did for the Mariners. Could we get it here? Next up, 0-for-1, shortstop, J.P. Crawford. He's due for a home run. Batting second, 0-for-1 with a K. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh, another individual that could come up big. And he's obviously been doing a little bit more single swings than home run swings. And batting third, getting his 2nd home run of the season to give us a 2-0 lead early in the 1st inning yesterday. He's been really ripping it up. Center fielder, Julio Rodriguez. Bring that electricity, J-Rod. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. End of the 3rd inning, 1-0 Cardinals. Gained another sub since the last commercial break. 21 subs to 23,900. Let's go. 121 to 24,000. And we are approaching 6 million views on the channel, like I've been mentioning. And recent streams, we're at 60 likes, 40 to go to get to 100. First pitch from McGreevy to Crawford, high and away, curveball 76 miles an hour. Michael McGreevy coming in with a 1-2 record, ERA of 3.29, and J.P. Crawford in the box. ABS challenge. Cardinals have won both of the ABS challenges here. I mean, obviously on the pitch graph, it looks ball, but it just got a piece of that corner. 0-1 pitch, high and away. And I think that's, it sometimes is going to go in our favor and sometimes it's not. But the ABS works, especially on those ones where you're just getting the corner. And sometimes in the past, you didn't really know how really close it was. I mean, you can see the pitch graph on the game. If you have like MLB.com or ESPN up, they got a pitch graph there. But just because the pitch graph shows the location doesn't mean it's exactly what it is in the game itself. So 2 balls and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. 2-1 pitch and a little dribbler towards third base and foul. Because there's definitely, pitches that I've seen on MLB.com and ESPN, because I got multiple pages up while I stream for stats and analytics and whatnot. And sometimes it clearly looks like it's not touching the line in the box, but then they do the replay on the ABS and it, 0.1, it's just right, barely a sliver. And sometimes that's just enough. 2-2 pitch. Low and at the knees, change up 86 miles an hour. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Top of the 4th inning, 1-0 Cardinals with a J.J. Weatherholt solo dinger moments ago. 3-2 pitch to J.P. Pops it up and out of play. Michael McGreevy on the mound. J.P. Crawford in the box. Let's go, J.P. See if we can get J.P. to force the walk or get a single here. 3-2 pitch. And JP with a single up the middle. No, throw to first. Not in time. I was hoping that was going to get past him. And down goes J.P. Crawford. And hopefully we can get a few balls to get past the infield. We haven't had too much luck yet besides Cole Young. He's not the only hit of the game so far. And we got no Josh Naylor in the lineup today, so at least early on. And I assume they're going to give him the day off since we go on the road to the Minnesota Twins next, and we're going to need him. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. On deck is Julio Rodriguez. First pitch, big swing and a miss. Change up 87 miles an hour there by McGreevy. 0-1 count. Oh-1 pitch, low and at the knees. 78 miles an hour there by McGreevy. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 4th inning, 1-0 St. Louis. Nothing that we can't come back from. Shout out to my boy Brooks Beats with the best beats on YouTube. Top of the 4th inning, 1-0 Cardinals. J.J. Weatherholt, homer to right center in the bottom of the 3rd, 375 feet. They got 6 hits. We only have 1. And again, we need to be able to get some runs here. Hard hit ball, deep right field, and gone! Cal Raleigh, he does it, baby! And that's exactly what we needed. All right, J.J. Weatherholt, who? We got the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go. Way to bring the electricity, Cal. And now the game is tied 401 feet into right center. It's the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. There we go. You know, and again, if it's going to be a game where we're not going to get a lot of hits, we have to make our hits count. Cole tried to turn a single into a double and got thrown out. Cal with a no-doubter. And again, great to be able to go against a right-handed pitcher so that way he can get into a groove, obviously, with that left-hand swing. Great job. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. Here we go. First pitch to Julio, takes a strike looking. Mariners challenge. And the call is overturned, and now it's going to be a 1-0 count instead of 0-1 count. Nice job there by Julio Rodriguez. Let's go. Hell yeah. Nice job, Cal. 1-0 pitch. Little dribbler by Julio in the infield. Throw to first, and that is 2 away. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go. 1-1 Mariners and Cardinals. Next up is Randy Arozarena. First pitch to Arozarena from McGreevy, low and away. Sinker 91 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And I'm happy. You know, we didn't get a run in the first 3 innings, but we only had to wait 1 more inning after that to the 4th. And again, you know, you never know what you're going to get out of the Seattle Mariners. You know, it really kind of depends on the pitching that we're going against. Is it a lefty? Is it a righty? Who's in the initial lineup? You know, how is our starting pitcher doing? Is he wild? Is he pitching electric like George Kirby normally does? You know, is he having an outing like Wu yesterday? And even though Hancock hasn't been as bad as Wu, it's still 1-1. But again, he has been a little sideways here today. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and inside. Sinker 90 miles an hour there by McGreevy. 2 balls and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. 2-1 pitch. They say another strike looking outside of the strike zone, but maybe just on the corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. And after you end up, winning 3 games in a row, you start to, gain that confidence and that swagger, compared to losing 3 straight like we did against the Padres and also getting swept by, multiple teams early this year already. So, but really the turning point was getting the sweep, aka mop, 4-game win streak on the Astros. And we really haven't looked back besides that little hiccup against the Padres on the road. 3-2 pitch. And big swing and a miss by Randy Arozarena, and that is out number 3, but not before we end up getting the big dumper, crushing one into right field, 401 feet, even deeper, 26 feet deeper than J.J. Weatherholt, and tridents up. Our guy, the best catcher in baseball, big dumper, Cal Raleigh, ties the game up. Thank you, Cal. We love you. Let's go to the bottom of the fourth inning and see who's up next here for the Cardinals. Next up for the Cardinals in the 7-hole, left fielder Nathan Church. Batting second in the 8-hole, third baseman, 1-for-1, Ramon Urias. And batting third in the 9-hole, center fielder Victor Scott II. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. $21 subs to go to 23,900. Bye-bye. $65 likes, 35 to 100. I've been keeping up, with the Tacoma Rainiers and the farm system as well. Cade Anderson looks like the best pitcher in the farm system overall. And again, at some point, they'll keep moving him up, from, single A, high A, double A, triple A, and eventually he'll get, to where we need him to be on the Tacoma Rainiers. But he has been absolutely killing it in the farm. And then Colt Emerson just came back from the wrist injury, ended up hitting a home run yesterday as well. And again, when the Tacoma Rainiers have Colt Emerson, they typically win. So again, nice to be able to see guys in the farm that will eventually be on this Mariners squad really doing well. And again, I'm glad to see Colt has recovered from that wrist injury that was minor that he was dealing with. Let's go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Hancock on the mound, Nathan Church in the box. 2 home runs yesterday and robbing Mitch Garver a home run. Very productive from Church, but not enough to get the victory. First pitch from Hancock to Church, takes a strike looking right down the middle, 0-1 count. Sean in the building, what's good? Larry in the building, what's good? Yes, we do. 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss. High, but in the zone. Sinker, 94 miles an hour there by Emerson Hancock. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the fourth inning. 1-1, Mariners and Cardinals. And the reason the game is 1-1, not 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, is because Hancock has been able to get that last batter out with 2 outs, or has been able to get a double play to kind of, stop the bleeding, so to speak. He's been having guys on pretty much every inning, but hasn't given up the big one besides the J.J. Weatherholt solo dinger that we just matched with Cal Raleigh. Pitch fouled off there by Church, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Hancock to Church. 1-2 pitch, change up, low and away. 87 miles an hour, a couple feet off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. Bottom of the fourth inning, 1-1 Mariners and Cardinals. And even though he's been a little sideways and shaky today, he's been more trustworthy than Gilbert and Castillo have been. But again, we're going to have those pitchers against the Twins to start off, so we need them to be better. Popped up to center field. Julio is there. And that is 1 away. We can always trust Julio Rodriguez. In the no-fly zone, getting the job done. Nice job, Julio. Next up, in the 8-hole, third baseman, 1-for-1, Ramon Urias. And on the mound for the Mariners, Emerson Hancock. Keep wheeling and dealing, baby. And he hits Urias. Wow. Hope he's okay. And we have had a weird tendency of hitting batters lately. And he gets hit right on the arm. I hope he's okay. He's clutching that arm like he broke it. And again, anytime you end up getting hit by a pitch, 95 to 100, it doesn't feel good, I can imagine. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of padding unless it's underneath the sleeve there. But it definitely kind of sounded more like ball on bone. And I hope he's okay. I don't wish injuries on anybody. And, we're not a dirty team, period. There might be things, that happen where people might think so, but again, it's not like we go for anybody's head, when we're on the mound. Again, if someone is doing something dirty to us and they hit someone like Julio in the back, yeah, we might retaliate and do the same thing in the next inning, but we're normally not the instigator. A lot of times the pitch just kind of gets away, from, the pitcher and whatnot. And now we're going to have, Hancock get looked at by the trainers as well as Urias, and hopefully Both guys are okay. Might have a cut that split open there by Hancock, or a blister that they're trying to be able to heal there. Got some crazy glue on there, trying to seal up any type of blister or cut. Cal Raleigh, solo dinger. You missed it. So we got a solo dinger by J.J. Weatherholt, and we got a solo dinger by Cal Raleigh moments ago. So again, not every game is going to be 11-9. You know, when we're down the whole game and we score 2 runs in the 8th and 2 runs in the 9th with 2-run RBI singles by Connor Joe and Leo Rivas to win the game. You know, and sometimes the games are going to be like George Kirby, where, you know, we win 3-2, you know, and it's a little bit lower scoring game, which it looks like this could potentially be a similar score, but you just never know. All it takes is one guy in the bullpen or a starter to have a mini meltdown, and you can open up the game. First pitch to Victor Scott II, low and away, cutter 85 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Scott fouls that one off, out of play. Sinker 94 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike to Victor Scott II. Bottom of the 4th inning, runner at first with 1 out. Hancock on the mound, Scott in the box. One pitch. High and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Victor Scott II. And again, we'll take a strikeout and a pop-up, strikeout and a ground out. Best case scenario would be a double play, but I'm not really sure if we're going to get it here in this inning. But anything is possible. 2-1 pitch, popped up. And a lot of times with the double plays, it's kind of intuition for me. Like, this is a situation where we could have a double play, but I'm not really feeling it. You know, I feel like we're going to get the second out. I don't know how. Strikeout, pop-up, ground out by Scott, but you know, some opportunities feel a little bit more with intuition than others, but we'll see how this goes. Hell, it could end up being a walk even. 2-2 pitch from Hancock to Scott. High and away. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Victor Scott II. But obviously, if we were to get the double play, that would be the smoothest transition to go into the bottom of the 4th to the top of the 5th. Come on, Hancock. Finish strong. Throw to first to Connor Joe, and he is safe. Three-two pitch. And there's the little dribbler. No double play. Throw to first. And that is 2 away. And again, it's just the intuition. You know, sometimes you feel like the double play is coming, and then other times it just feels like we're going to get the out. At least we ended up getting that out at first. Down goes Victor Scott II. And now they have a runner at second with 2 outs. But again, I think if you watch baseball enough, you know, some people's intuition will be a little bit better than others. Next up, 1 for 2 with a run and an RBI. Second baseman J.J. Weatherholt, who homered in his last at-bat. Got to be careful here. First pitch to Weatherholt. Line drive to first base. Connor Joe is there. Good defense there by Connor Joe, doing what Josh Naylor normally does and getting Emerson Hancock out of another jam. Good job. We can always count on the defense, even if the pitcher goes a little bit sideways. End of the 4th inning, we're knotted up at 1. Home run by J.J. Weatherholt, and that was in the 3rd inning. And then in the top of the 4th, we got our home run by our guy, Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Let's go to the top of the 5th inning and let's take the lead. What do you say? Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 1, right fielder, Luke Raley. I could really use a nuke from Luke. Batting second in the 6th hole, it's the Italian Stallion, 0 for 1, Dominic Canzone. And batting third in the 7th hole, filling in for Josh Naylor today, the hero in the 8th inning with Leo Rivas in the 9th with a 2-run RBI single, first baseman Connor Joe. Trident's up. Let's go M's. $21 subs to go to 23,900. And we're at 66 likes, 34 to 100. We got 182 in the room. So if we can get a little bit of assistance there, that would be great to be able to get to 100. And then we can, try to get to 150 to 200 before the stream ends. And we're still looking for our first dono on our dono train. Michael McGreevy on the mound and Luke Raley in the box. Let's go, Luke. First pitch from McGreevy to Raley, and swings at the first pitch. Little slow dribbler to second base, throw to first, and that is one away. Work the count, Luke. Way too quick there for McGreevy. Next up in the 6th hole, DHing the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Let's go, Dom. Top of the 5th inning, 1-1, Mariners and Cardinals. First pitch is high and away to Dominic Canzone, 1-0 count. A few clouds have come in there in St. Louis. Sun was very, very bright in the first few innings and now a little bit overcast. Nice to have no sun in our eyes like we had in the Padres series in the first 2 games. Conveniently right in the Mariner batters' eyes in the first couple innings. But obviously not intentional, like the Cowboys and Jerry Jones and what he does. 1-0 pitch ends up being a strike looking high and away. 1 ball, 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. 1-1 pitch, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 90 miles an hour there by McGreevy. 2 balls and 1 strike to Dominic Canzone. Come on, Dom. 2-1 pitch. And gets a hold of that one into left field, out of play. 4-seam fastball, 91 miles an hour there by McGreevy. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dominic Canzone. 2-2 pitch. And that is strike 3 looking. Down goes Dom. And is Dom going to try to challenge? I don't know if he'll win this. Looks like it might have gotten a little bit of the corner. Oh, good challenge there by Dom. Call is overturned. Now we got a 3-2 count. Come on, Dom. See if you can end up getting a single, double, home run, or a walk out of this at-bat. Come on, Dom. Both teams are 2-0 on their challenges so far. And Dom, next pitch, a nice base knock into shallow left field. Great job by Dominic Canzone, who's been our best DH since, maybe Edgar Martinez. I mean, we've had a few guys, bigger guys, the Jared Vogelbacks, the Mike Fords, the Carlos Santanas, and a lot of times we have to wait 50, 60 games to figure out who the guy is. And it's nice to be able to know who the guy is at the very beginning of the year. And it's a guy that can actually play, in right field if needed. It doesn't have to be only DH. And again, it's not a guy that, is going to strike out or get a home run and that's it. So nice job by Dom grinding out that bat, winning the challenge and getting the job done with that single. Beautiful job by Dominic Canzone. Next up in the 7th hole, first baseman filling in for Josh Naylor, Connor Joe. First pitch, high and inside with a sinker, 89 miles an hour, 1-0 count. And it's not like I didn't like, Vogelback or Mike Ford or Carlos Santana. Obviously, when those guys got home runs and RBIs, it was exciting, but there was a hell of a lot of strikeouts for guys like that. So, to have more of a normal, traditional player play DH suits us better. And we're going to be getting Victor Robles back at some point, which I don't know if he'll be really in the DH role, maybe, once in a while, and maybe once in a while in right field with Luke and Dom splitting, time there in right field. But I'm excited to get Victor Robles back. 1-1 pitch. Low and away. Sweeper, 81 miles an hour there by McGreevy. 2 balls and 1 strike to Connor Joe. And we know that Robles hasn't really been the same hitter since his injury where he dove, into the netting and the wall in San Francisco last year. But defense, usually pretty good and gives you good vibes like Eugenio Suarez did. Good vibes only. 2-1 pitch, pops it up. Shallow right field. And Jordan Walker is there. Down goes Connor Joe with the pop-up. and that is 2 away. Next up in the 8 hole, one of the best offense and defensive combo players that we have, like Julio Rodriguez, Cole Young. Now, he tried to stretch a single into a double and got thrown out at second for our first hit of the game. Let's see if Cole can get another hit here or a home run. Let's go, Cole. One of the most drastically improved players from last year to this year. And again, we needed it, especially with the slow start with Cal, Julio, and Naylor in the first 10 games, even though those guys have been heating up within the last 10. Vapor with a 5er, appreciate you. First dono so far here in the 5th. We're at 5.95 to go. And every dollar counts. Got to take my, pup to the vet. We got to make sure we get everything situated for the internet and the streaming fee and Mariners TV. So appreciate you. Every dollar helps. We're at 5 on the dono train, 95 to go. Appreciate you, Vapor, who's been the MVP on the dono train for the 2026 season so far. Top of the 5th inning, runner at first with 2 outs. We're knotted up at 1. McGreevy on the mound, Cole Young in the box. And once one dono comes in, usually a dono train follows. Appreciate you. 0-1 pitch, big swing and a miss. No balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. Oh, 2 pitch, check swing. Does he go? And he goes around, and that is out number 3. Unfortunate at bat there for Cole Young. End of the 5th inning for the Mariners. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th and see who's up next here for the Cardinals. Next up for the Cardinals, 1 for 2 with a K, catcher Ivan Herrera. Batting second, 0 for 2, first baseman Alec Burleson. And batting third in the 4-hole, right fielder, 1 for 1 with a base on ball, Jordan Walker. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. $21 subs to go to 23,900. And we know things have been tight, obviously financially for a lot of people, within the last couple years. But also remember, for people that are making, $15 to $20 an hour, you might make more money in 1 hour than I might make in a day or 2. So anything that can be, helped out to continue to do this full time, it would be greatly appreciated. There's a lot of people that, work 8, 9, 10-hour days. And remember, if you're making $20 an hour or something of that nature, you might make more in 1 hour than I might make in a day or 2 or even 3. So anything that you can do would be greatly appreciated. 77 likes, 23 more to get to 100. Now, obviously, we're going to have certain days where we're going to, be at 100 or over 200, but obviously that's not every day here on the channel just yet. 77 likes, 23 to 100. But to have internet fast enough to do the streaming, and then to be able to have the streaming program that I use, and then have Mariners TV, it's almost $200 a month just to do the dream. So, if you enjoy what you see, make sure you hit that like button, the share button, sub to the channel, and then obviously if you can support with the dono train, it would definitely help. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th inning, 1-1 Mariners and Cardinals. Emerson Hancock on the mound and Ivan Herrera in the box. First pitch to Herrera, sweeper, 76 miles an hour, low and away, 1-0 count. One 0 pitch, takes a strike looking high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ivan Herrera. One pitch, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 1 strike from Hancock to Herrera. 2-1 pitch, and fouls that one off into right field, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Hancock to Herrera. And Emerson has been a little wild today. Not as bad as Brian Wu. He's given up 6 hits, but we've only had the 1 home run by J.J. Weatherholt. And then we ended up getting Cal Raleigh to match in the next half inning. So it definitely has been a pitcher's duel so far. And again, hopefully the game will open up and we'll have the better version of our bullpen than them, because it may end up being the difference in the game, whoever's bullpen is slightly better. 3-2 pitch. Popped up into shallow right field. Get it, Luke. And Rayleigh fighting the sun, but gets the job done, and that is 1 away. Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, Lou Piniella. Awesome. We love Sweet Lou. Best manager we've ever had, period. Next up is Alec Burleson. And the Reds have a very feel-good story. They have Ellie De La Cruz and a few others, but I don't think a lot of people anticipated them being the top team in the NL Central, for a good majority of 2026. But again, it's always nice to have a surprise or two in baseball. Little slow dribbler by Burleson, flip to Hancock, toe tap on the bag, and that is 2 away. And Alec Burleson struggles, and the box continue. Next up in the 4-hole, right fielder, Jordan Walker. Hancock on the mound, Walker in the box. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Let's finish strong. We've already won the series, but we're looking for the sweep. We need momentum. We already have a 3-game win. 1 against the Athletics, 2 games so far here against the Cardinals, and then we're going to go on the road starting tomorrow against the Minnesota Twins. And regardless of their record above 500 or below, they're always tough in Minnesota. 1-0 pitch, that wild sweeper I was talking about at the beginning of the game, gets away from Cal. 2 balls and no strikes to Jordan Walker. Daniel in the building, what's good? .2-0 pitch, and another ball there to Jordan Walker. Might need a mound visit from Cal, but again, hopefully we can get this last out here. 3 balls and no strikes to Jordan Walker. 3-0 pitch, and that's a 4-pitch walk. Jordan Walker to first. 2 sweepers, 2 sinkers, nothing hitting the plate. And next up is Nolan Gorman. And we don't really know if that blister or cut is affecting some of these throws, which I imagine, some of them are with the grip. Anytime you end up having a cut or a blister on your throwing hand, it definitely is going to affect the grip on those throws. And a little slow dribbler there by Gorman, throw to first, and that is out number 3. And anytime we end up getting someone on base, the defense or Hancock usually comes up big and shuts it down, and he shuts it down again. Good job, defense. End of the 5th, 1-1, Mariners and Cardinals in a pitcher's duel. A lot different of a matchup than yesterday, more similar to Game 1 when we had George Kirby on the mound. Now let's see if we can take the lead here in the top of the 6th. Next up for the Mariners, the hero last night with the 2-run RBI single in the 9th inning, 0 for 1, third baseman Leo Rivas. Let's go, Leo. Batting second, 0 for 2, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing a bunt by Rivas or Crawford. Sometimes small ball wins. We got a couple bunts yesterday, and sometimes a bunt gets the game going, especially if you get a wild throw to first or if you can run and move guys over. Let's see what we got with those first 2 batters. And batting third, the MVP so far for the Mariners, 1 for 2 with a run, an RBI and a K with that solo dinger there in the top of the 4th inning. The best catcher in the game, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. All right, we're at 81 likes, 19 to 100. We got 180 in the room. We get 19 people out of 180. We'll be at 100. Let's go. Let's take a look at the stats here really quick as well. Michael McGreevy, 5 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 5 Ks, 77 pitches, 51 strikes with a 3.06 ERA. And then Emerson Hancock, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 76 pitches, 42 strikes with a 2.67, as they're showing Ryan Sloan highlights there. 7 strikeouts there for the Travelers. Nice job by Ryan Sloan, who's doing good, as well as Kate Anderson. And obviously in AAA for the Tacoma Rainiers, our guy, Colt Emerson, which will be the next big guy that gets the call up for Seattle. 1-0 pitch to Rivas, high and away, but hits the strike there on the line. Change up 85 miles an hour. 1 ball and 1 strike to Leo Rivas. And there's a bunt. You know, again, sometimes it's just the intuition. You just have a certain idea when the time is right to drop the bunt. Now, it doesn't go fair. It goes foul, but great to be able to see that we're connected here on the channel with the players. That's a good question. You know, normally there's not very many left-handed catchers, if any, you know, but that would be something to look up, you know, and see if there is anybody that's starting that is a lefty, or if there's any backup lefties. You know, and there might be some lefties that are in the farm, but usually for catchers, you know, 9 times out of 10, they are righties. It's very rare to have a left-handed catcher. One-two pitch, and Rivas fouls that one off. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. Top of the 6th inning, 1-1, Mariners and Cardinals. 1-2 pitch from McGreevy, low and at the knees. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Leo Rivas. It looks like Benny DiStefano in 1989 was the last lefty catcher. And Jack Clements and Dale Long. So it looks like it's 1989 was the last time. So that's wild. You know, again, 1989, the last time that we've seen a left-handed catcher. Crazy. 3-2 pitch. And Rivas rips one into right field, and it's fair. Let's go. And Leo decides to pump the brakes and not pull a Cole Young and try to stretch a single into a double. Good decision. And that's a nice single there by Leo Rivas. Ended up getting the game-winning 2-run RBI single yesterday, and the hot streak continues for him at third base, filling in for Brandon Donovan. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. Great job. And he even dropped a bunt down in that at-bat. Next up is J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. Yeah, I just looked it up to be able to see if there was anybody, and I couldn't think of anybody in recent memory, so... Last time there was a catcher that was lefty, I was 7, so. First pitch takes a strike looking from McGreevy to Crawford. Curveball, 76 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Throw to first, and Rivas is safe. And this is another opportunity where JP could bunt and move the runner over, and both runners could end up being safe. You know, JP is pretty good at bunting, but again, he has the ability to get a single, double, triple, or home run as well, or take the walk. He's usually pretty patient. 0-1 pitch, high and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. But if we can end up getting 2 guys on with no outs, there's a very good possibility, unless J.P. gets a home run, of course, that we could end up taking the 2-1 or 3-1 lead this inning. Let's go, J.P. Plus, if you think about watching baseball games, just the delivery from someone throwing the ball back to the pitcher as a lefty, you know, it's not something that really registers. You know, it's normally always a righty, you know, throwing the ball back to the pitcher. It's like, I don't know if I can even envision a lefty throwing it to the pitcher. J.P. Crawford getting a pop up there to shallow right field. Jordan Walker is there. And that is 1 away. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 2 with a run, RBI, and a K, who ended up getting that big solo dinger in the top of the fourth to tie the game up. Big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Could he get another homer again? And we know Cal is one of those guys that's most likely to have a multi-homer game. To get 2 or 3 in a game, Cal would definitely be at the top of the list. Let's see if Cal can end up making some magic here with a single, double, or a home run. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, having a lefty behind the plate would be at a disadvantage, unless they ended up having a rocket arm, and obviously with placement with the baseball, you could step into the throw, lefty throwing it to first, and you could end up having an advantage throwing, that way rather than a righty throwing and kind of getting in the way of the ump and the catcher. Pops up, shallow third base, and that is 2 away. Unfortunate pop up there by Cal Raleigh. And we're in the top of the 6th with a runner at first, Leo Rivas with 2 outs. Let's see if our center fielder stud, J-Rod Julio Rodriguez, can come up big here. Let's go, Julio. Throw to first to Rivas, and he is safe. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. First pitch to Julio, check swing, low and away, 1-0 count. And we definitely have seen Julio be a lot more patient this year. And is that coincidence with the ABS, being fully installed? Again, we've seen him being, really the only criticism for Julio, in the first half of the season, just not being patient in the box, and just kind of chasing bad pitches. But you haven't really seen that, out of him this year, that he's been taking more longer at bats, kind of waiting for the game to come to him, even though he struggled early on with Cal and Naylor. But hell, the whole team was pretty much struggling except for Brendan Donovan and Cole Young early. And this is a great version of Julio Rodriguez that's going to continue to get hopefully better and better. 1-0 pitch, tries to jam Julio inside, and he fouls it off. 1 ball and 1 strike to Julio Rodriguez. And also a lot of those questionable strikeouts that probably were walks, we're actually going to be able to get them called correctly with the ABS. There was a lot of kind of bullshit calls against Julio the last few years, and also a lot of wild swings that Julio definitely had some self-inflicted wounds where if he just was more patient, maybe better things would have happened. Big swing and a miss there, low and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, Julio. 1-2 pitch. High and away. Good patience there. That would have been strike 3 for Julio and last year and the year before. 2 balls and 2 strikes from McGreevy to Julio. Top of the 6th inning in a pitcher's duel. We're knotted up at 1. We're trying to go for the sweep. Cardinals are trying to prevent the sweep. And again, it's anybody's game here. Bullpen should be the deciding factor. 2-2 pitch. A little blooper. Yes! Nice blooper by Julio, my man. There we go. I love that. Nice job by Julio Rodriguez. He has really been great within the last, 13, 14, 15 games. He's killing it. Another guy that's been killing it in the last 13, 14, 15 games, Randy Arozarena. Julio and Randy are both batting over 300 in that time span. And again, they've been pretty damn good. Cal's getting the home runs. Naylor's getting home runs and RBIs. Julio and Randy are getting on base on a regular basis, even though we want more home runs out of those guys. Obviously we don't have too many weaknesses besides Randy in left field on ground balls. But other than that, and obviously sometimes with our starting pitching, Gilbert, Castillo, Wu yesterday, and obviously our bullpen, but defense has usually been spectacular. So again, we're starting to clean up a lot of those issues that we had early on. First pitch to Arozarena from McGreevy. Fouls that one off. Four-seam fastball, 90 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Let's see if Randy can end up getting a big 3-run blast or an RBI here. Let's open this game up. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Come on, Randy. Top of the 6th, runners at first and second. Rivas at second, Julio at first. Randy in the box. 0-1 pitch. Fouls that one off into right field. He's batting over 300 in the last 13 games. Let's keep it going. No balls and 2 strikes to Randy Arozarena. The only problem is that when Randy gets in an 0-2 count, like a lot of the guys, it usually ends up being a strikeout. So it's really hard to be able to battle out of an 0-2 count, a 3-2 count, or with 2 outs. But now he's with the 0-2 with runners on with 2 outs. So hopefully with those runners on, that'll give him that extra motivation with a good follow-through swing here. Come on, Randy. When you got guys on rather than nobody on, the chance of striking out obviously is a little different. 0-2 pitch, just gets a piece of that. Curveball, 78 miles an hour, low and at the knees. No balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second and 2 outs. Top of the 6th inning, 1-1 Mariners and Cardinals. Let's open this game up. Let's go, Randy. I mean, your defense on ground balls makes me go fucking crazy, but again, you have been a good hitter within the last 13 games here. 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, and that 0-2 curse continues. A lot of players have a hard time battling out of that, even if they get a couple foul balls. Down goes Randy. We leave 2 stranded, but the game is still tied 1-1. And again, these are things that you notice if you're watching these games, every pitch, every game from beginning to end. Let's go to the bottom of the 6th inning and see who's up next here for the Cardinals. Next up for the Cardinals, 0-2 with a K, shortstop Mason Wen. Batting second, 1-2, left fielder Nathan Church. And batting third, 1-1 in the 8-hole, third baseman Ramon Urias. And let's take a look at the numbers for the pitchers. All right, so Emerson Hancock, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 3 Ks, 76 pitches, 42 strikes. So this will probably be his last inning, 2.67 ERA. And then as far as Michael McGreevy, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, 6 Ks, and that was 98 pitches, 65 strikes. So he'll be done, obviously, with a 2.97 ERA. And then hopefully we have a meltdown after McGreevy, and then we can open this game up. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. $21 subs to go to 23,900. Win it for Dave Niehaus. Let's win it for Rick Riz. 92 likes, 8 to 100. We're almost there. We got 190 in the room. So if we can get 8 people out of 190, we'll be at 100, and then we'll be on our way to 150. But definitely a pitcher's duel so far. And first pitch from Emerson Hancock to Mason Wen takes a strike looking high and away, 0-1 count. Bottom of the 6th inning, we're knotted up at 1 with a pitcher's duel, kind of similar to game 1 when George Kirby was on the mound and we won that game 3-2. And whoever's bullpen is stronger is going to win this game, it feels like. 0-1 pitch, low and at the knees, sweeper, 76 miles an hour, 1 ball and 1 strike to Mason Wen. 1-1 pitch, fouls that one off into left field. Nice catch by that fan. Nice. Beautiful grab there with no mitt. And every ball that I've gotten, either through a AAA game where I got 2 when I was 10, and I've gotten 3 baseballs at Mariner games. Kike Hernandez ball when I went to watch the Mariners and the Dodgers. A Julio Rodriguez ball, as well as an Aaron Judge ball. Never have had a mitt. And that was a great catch with no mitt by that fan. 1-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss, and down goes Mason Wen. And that is 1 away. Good start for Emerson Hancock, retiring the first batter. Next up in the 7-hole, left fielder Nathan Church. On deck is Ramon Urias. First pitch, fouled off by Church into left field, out of play. Sinker 94 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Bottom of the 6th inning, 1-1, Mariners and Cardinals. Tridents up, let's go M's. And even when we were down 1-0, it never really felt like this game was, out of reach, because of the defense. And even though Hancock has been a little sideways, giving up the 6 hits, but we've been able to keep those runners there. And, obviously Weatherholt with a solo dinger, Cal Raleigh with a solo dinger, and that's it. So 1-1 pitch to Church. Smokes it into right field, and that is gone. Damn it. Big home run by Nathan Church. He had 2 home runs yesterday and robbed Mitch Garver of a home run. And that is fucking unfortunate. And again, we're looking at an uphill battle again, but nothing that we can't recover from. 407 feet there from Nathan Church. And we'll see how long Emerson Hancock lasts. And again, if we had more runs, it wouldn't be as significant. We need to get to 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits to win most games. And anytime you end up having a low scoring game and then the other team scores a big, run like that, big home run by Nathan Church, it definitely stings a little bit. Way to bring the electricity there for the Cardinals. Next up is Ramon Urias. And again, normally we can only give up, 3 runs maximum where we still feel that we can win the game. But at this point, we can't have Hancock give up any more. It has to be 2-1 because we don't really know what our bullpen is going to look like or theirs. First pitch to Urias, fouls that one off, 0-1 count. And again, most pitchers, typically give up 1 to 3 runs. I mean, that's kind of on the norm. But when you only have 0 or 1, it's definitely easier to be more critical, of him. Again, he's given up hits, 2 solo dingers. But again, it could be worse. Imagine if those were 3-run blasts or 2-run jacks. Could be a much different story. 0-2 pitch, low and at the knees with the sweeper. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ramon Urias. So we already got the home run by Cal. Who's going to be the guy that gets that second home run for the Mariners? One-two pitch, high and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ramon Urias. And they got Gabe Spire in the pen. I'm not really sure if that's the guy that I want to see, but I'd rather have him come in with 1 out or 2 outs rather than trying to retire the side. I'll tell you that. 2-2 pitch, and Urias fouls that one off into right field, out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ramon Urias. Could be a Dom bomb. It's possible. Or a nuke from Luke, or another home run from Cal, or maybe even Julio. Or it could be an unexpected player like Leo or JP. You never know. 2-2 pitch, low and away. And if you really want to talk about the most unexpected player, that would be Connor Joe. But again, Joe ended up having that big 2-run RBI single yesterday. You never know with this team. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ramon Urias. 3-2 pitch. And a hard hit ball into shallow left field. Randy is there. And that's the one thing that he can do in left field is pop-ups. And that is 2 away. And next up in the 9-hole, center fielder Victor Scott II. Just get this last out here, and we got plenty of time to catch up and, tie this game up and take the lead. All we need is 1 mini meltdown, by 1 pitcher. We obviously know McGreevy won't be coming back, and hopefully we'll be able to get it in the top of the 7th. First pitch to Scott, big swing and a miss, cutter, 85 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, low and away. Sweeper, 78 miles an hour there by Hancock. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning, 2-1 Cardinals. It doesn't feel like the game is out of reach whatsoever. Hancock has been pretty good, even though he's given up 2 solo dingers. It's just about the offense. We got 5 hits. They got 7. We got the 1 solo home run by Cal Raleigh. They have 2 with Weatherholt and Church. It's just about, getting another Mariner player to do what Church just did moments ago. Pitches low and away. Change up 87 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Victor Scott II. 2-1 pitch, little slow dribbler. Cole Young is there. Throw to Connor Joe, and that is out number 3. Nice job. Got to limit the damage and stop the bleeding, and they did. And obviously, I know Hancock is a little disappointed giving up, those 2 solo dingers, but, it's easy to be negative. But again, could be worse. Imagine if it was, a 2-run blast on one of them or both, or a 3-run jack, then the game is probably over and we probably don't come back. But plenty of time to come back, only down by 1. And let's see if we have the right batters in place to make some magic happen. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2, right fielder Luke Raley, but we have to wait to see if it's going to be a lefty or a righty they bring in, and depending on who they bring in, we may not have Luke or Canzone. Batting second, 1 for 2, DHing Dominic Canzone, and batting third, 0 for 2 with a K, first baseman Connor Joe. And, I can't wait for Victor Robles to come back. I need that juice and that energy. All right, Swanson is coming in. All right, Matt Swanson is coming in. And he's a righty. That one isn't big enough. Hold on, I'm gonna find a different one. All right, Swanson in here, the righty, filling in for Michael McGreevy, who has ended his start, and hopefully we'll be able to get something there on Matt Swanson. First pitch, big swing and a miss there for Luke Raley, right down the middle, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, a little blooper into left field, and that is 1 away. Down goes Luke. And again, Luke Raley's at-bats have not been very productive, first, second pitch outs. We got to be able to get Luke to be able to work the count, because if you can get to pitch 5, pitch 6, that's when Luke will end up hitting the nuke. When he gets that perfect pitch, a little bit pressing, on these first 2 pitches and those first 3 at-bats for Luke Raley. Next up is Dominic Canzone. And I'm happy that they brought in a righty, not a lefty. First pitch fouled off by Dominic Canzone. Cutter, 93 miles an hour there from Matt Swanson. 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch, a little dribbler towards third base. Throw to first, and that is 2 away. Next up is Connor Joe. First pitch from Swanson to Joe, fouls that one off, 0-1 count. Cutter, 92 miles an hour there by Swanson, and hopefully we can get Swanson with a meltdown at some point here. Pitches low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Connor Joe. Yeah, well, I still think we can win this game, and again, we won the series, but it's not like we've been winning a lot of games this year. We're still below 500, so when you have a chance to sweep, you got to take advantage of every opportunity, especially when we have the Twins on the road next, starting tomorrow, and then we're going to have to play the Royals and the Braves at home, and, that could go sideways, especially the Braves. They are just like the Padres, the Dodgers, and Yankees. They are killing it right now, so, it could be sooner than later that we get swept by one of these teams, so we got to make sure we take advantage. And Connor Joe with a little bloop single into left field. Go, go, go. And Joe's going for 2. And safe. There we go. Nice double by Connor Joe. There we go. And let's see now with 2 outs if we can start a rally. And again, Connor Joe being one of the heroes with a 2-run RBI single in the 8th, 2-run RBI single in the 9th by Leo. And let's see if our guy Cole Young can end up getting a big RBI or home run here. Let's go, Cole. Cole Young in the box. Leo Rivas on deck. Nice job. And again, it's nice to be able to see Rob Refsnyder and Mitch Garver and obviously Connor Joe, guys that normally we have no faith in. We're starting to believe in them. And it's starting to rub off on some of the other players as well. Great job. Hell, even Will Wilson from AAA came in yesterday and hit a home run in his first at-bat. So things are looking pretty damn good, for Seattle. And we got Colt Emerson, Ryan Sloan, and Cade Anderson waiting in the wings. It's exciting. Cardinals challenge. The 1-0 pitch. And that goes to 0-1. Swanson on the mound, Cole Young in the box. Come on, Cole. 0-1 pitch. Just gets a piece. No balls and 2 strikes to Cole Young. Top of the 7th inning. Connor Joe with the double. And again, stretching a single into a double, but found a way to get in and have a great slide into second safe. We're down by a run. And again, we just need to be able to tie this game up and win this game 3-2, just like we did in game 1. 0-2 pitch. Blooper by Cole Young. Go, Connor Joe. Go, Connor Joe. And he comes home. Big RBI. 2-2 tie. Woo! So fucking clutch, man. The most trustworthy defender we have other than Julio, Cole Young, and then being able to come up with these clutch, home runs and RBIs. Great job by Connor Joe. You're not going to hear any slander out of my mouth. And a great job by Cole Young. We're knotted up at 2. Let's see if Rivas can end up extending our lead. And Rivas hasn't hit a home run yet. It would be a great time to be able to get an RBI or a home run here in the top of the 7th inning. We are grinding away. I love it. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Could we get a mini meltdown here by Swanson? Let's go. And again, it just feels like nothing is out of reach. That was a turning point game yesterday. We're on a 3-game win streak. We know it's not going to get any easier against the Twins on the road, Royals, and the Braves at home. But, I feel most of us feel very confident of this team. The bats are starting to get hot. Yeah, the pitching is still a little suspect, starting and bullpen, but the defense is crazy good, and the hitting has been pretty damn good. It's just the closer with Mooney, the managing by Dan Wilson. But again, if we score enough runs, we don't have to worry about him making mistakes, so it's on the players. And again, if we can just get the pitching and the bullpen on the same page, 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits usually ends up being a victory for Seattle in most games rather than not. 2-1 pitch, throw to first, and he is safe. Top of the 7th inning, 2-2 Mariners and Cardinals. Cal Raleigh, one of the heroes today with a solo dinger, and Cole Young, one of the heroes here today. And great job by Connor Joe making it happen in this inning as well. 2-1 pitch, and Rivas with a little dribbler towards first and foul. Let's go, Leo. And then imagine when Colt Emerson gets called up and he can play side by side with Cole. It might be, a majority of next year after JP moves on. But man, it's going to be electric. 2-2 pitch. Big swing and a miss. Because I think a lot of people don't realize Colt Emerson is a great hitter, but he's an awesome defender too. But we tie up the game even though Rivas can't add on. Great job there by Cole Young. We love you. Let's go to the bottom of the 7th inning and keep them at 2. Next up, 1 for 3 with a run and an RBI. Solo dinger by J.J. Weatherholt. Batting second in the 2-hole, catching Ivan Herrera. 1 for 3 with a K. And batting third, 0 for 3 in the 3-hole, has struggled in the box in this series, first baseman Alec Burleson. Trident's up. Let's go, Ems. Win it for Riz. Gained 2 more subs since the last commercial break. 19 subs to go. 23,900. Let's go. We're at 5 on the dono train. 95 to go. And we finally broke 100. Thank you. We're at 104. 46 to 150. And both teams have 2 runs. Both teams have 7 hits, and both teams have no errors. It's as close as you can possibly imagine. JJ Weatherholt homers to right center, 375 feet, 1-0 Cardinals. Cal Raleigh homers in the next half inning to right center, 401, 1-1 tie. Church homers to right, 407, 2-1 Cardinals. And Young gets a big single to right, scoring Connor Joe from second. And again, if Connor Joe doesn't get that double and stretch that single into a double, then we're not talking about a 2-2 tie. So just as important, as Cole Young, is getting that RBI, Connor Joe, that was huge. If he doesn't get that double, the game is still 2-1. Great job. And we got the lefty in, Gabe Spire. First pitch, takes a strike looking to JJ Weatherholt, 0-1 count. And we need the good Gabe, not the bad. If we're going to have the Pat McAfee lookalike in here, he needs to be good. Oh, 1 pitch, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Gabe Spire to JJ Weatherholt. And again, Gabe has got a tendency, of getting an out and then giving up a home run or an RBI. And Weatherholt hits it deep. Back to the wall, and nice catch by Julio Rodriguez. Thank God. And Julio ends up bailing out Gabe Spire. Nice job, and that is 1 away. But, Gabe might be the 3rd best guy in the pen after Brash and Bizzardo, but I don't really trust him that often. He's good usually for maybe an out, maybe 2 at the most, but if you have to ask for 3, if he starts off an inning, hold your breath. It may work out, but it may not. But so far, so good, and don't give up a home run to this next batter, Ivan Herrera. Sometimes I feel, he turns into kind of Logan Gilbert and Luis Castillo. Gabe is in that same kind of mind frame where I think he feels that he can blow it past the hitters and go right down the middle. But Castillo is getting up there in age. Gilbert doesn't have the stuff. And Gabe is just maybe a little too overconfident in his abilities. And again, if you're going to test hitters right down the middle, the good ones are going to make you pay, even the bad ones. 1-0 pitch, big swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ivan Herrera. Now, if Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, or Gabe Spire were like fucking Mason Miller and you could pitch 100 to 102, then I say no problem. But obviously, as we know, none of those guys are Mason Miller. 1-1 pitch, 4-seam fastball, high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ivan Herrera. Two-one pitch, high and away. Sinker, 93 miles an hour there by Gabe Spire. 3 balls and 1 strike to Ivan Herrera. Naylor day-to-day with a quad tightness, huh? Hopefully he'll be ready for the Twins. And again, hopefully we get Donovan back at that series as well. And if not, then at least the Royal series when we come back home. But we don't want to rush Donovan back too soon, because if we rush him back too soon, then he'll end up being back on the IL. So especially with a growing, that's something that usually is reoccurring, when you had a growing or a hip issue. So, or both. Pitch fouled off there by Herrera. 3-2 pitch, low and into the dirt, and that ends up being a walk to Herrera. Next up in the 3-hole, first baseman Alec Burleson. All right, I haven't asked for it earlier in the game. I asked for it, and I got it. I need a double play now, okay? Sports gods, I need a little slow dribbler right up the middle to JP, throw to Connor Joe, and we get out of this inning, especially with Gabe Spire on the mound. Please give it to me. First pitch in there for a strike to Burleson, who has been struggling in the series. 0-1 count. Bottom of the 7th inning, runner at first with 1 out. I would love for this to be 2-2. Give us another double play opportunity, please. Oh, 1 pitch. Tries to jam him, and he fouls that one off into right field. Sinker, 94 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes to Alec Burleson. The only problem is with Gabe, you usually don't get a whole lot of ground balls. It's usually strikeout, home run, or a big single or double, and it's usually deep into the outfield for a lot of his hits. But you never know. Throw to first to Connor Joe, and he is safe. Bottom of the 7th, runner at first with 1 out. Gabe Spire on the mound, Alec Burleson in the box. And again, if Spire can't produce the double play, and you're here with the defense, we just got to make sure that we, don't have them score any runs to take the lead. Little dribbler there, and ends up going towards first base and foul. Slider, 84 miles an hour by Spire. No balls and 2 strikes with a runner at first and 1 out. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2-2. Mariners and Cardinals. We've already won the series, but we're not done. We're looking for the brooms, and we're looking for the sweep. Especially with the Twins on the road next. That's not going to be easy. 0-2 pitch, low and away. Slider, 83 miles an hour there by Spire. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Alec Burleson. And the Blazers are going to be matched up against the Spurs here today. Wemby is back. I'll definitely be tuning into that, and a little bit of Talladega for NASCAR Cup Series as well once this game ends. Pitches low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Alec Burleson. Come on, Gabe. Find a way, Spire. You might be our 3rd best, but... And 2-2 pitch, slow dribbler. Give me the double play. Give it to me. And we just get the fielder's choice. No double play, but we finally get a little slow dribbler out of Burleson. And I'll take that. That's much better than him giving up a home run or an RBI. And that is 2 away, and that'll be it for Gabe Spire, and I like the call. Good pitching change here. We can bring in Bizzardo, and Bizzardo can clean it up. And again, I don't always agree with Dan Wilson, but I definitely agree with the decision there. You don't want to keep in Gabe in too long. Again, he might be the 3rd best guy. He might be better than Cole Wilcox or Cooper Criswell and Jose Ferrer. But again, at least he didn't give up anything big. And now we can bring in Bizzardo to kick the door down and finish him off here. And obviously, the better that the bats are, usually the better the decision-making for Dan Wilson. When the bats are not there, then he starts to make kind of nightmare decisions. So we just want to make sure that we, try to leave the game out of his decision-making as much as possible, unless it ends up being a benefit to the team. Next up is Jordan Walker. And hopefully Edward Bizzardo will shut him down. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Gained 2 more subs since the last commercial break. 17 subs to go to 23,900. All right, here we go. Bizzardo in the game here against Jordan Walker. First pitch, slow dribbler up the middle. JP is there. Flip to Cole Young. Got him. And that's as great of an execution that you could have called for. Bizzardo, only 1 pitch. We have an opportunity to bring him back out in the 8th inning, and then hopefully we end up taking the lead. Nice job. Good decision-making from Dan Wilson. And again, we haven't really said that too often this year. But again, when he ends up doing something correct, we want to make sure we're giving him the praise. And again, we haven't really agreed too much with Dan Wilson, especially at the beginning of the year, but that was a perfect switch up from Spire to Edward Bizzardo. Great job by Bizzardo and a great job by Dan there. All right, let's see if we can take the lead here and not look back. Let's go to the top of the 8th and see if we get a little bit of that Soto mojo and that Mariner magic. I'm looking for my broom. I want to sweep. Next up, 0 for 3, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Could he drop a bunt down at one point or another? We will see. Batting second, 1 for 3 with a run, RBI, and a K. Catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh, who already has a home run in this game. Could he do it again? We may need him to. And batting third, one of the hottest hitters in the game within the last 15 games. 1 for 3, center fielder, batting over 300 in the last 15 games. Julio Rodriguez. Could we get home run number 3 at this at-bat? I sure as hell hope so. Trident's up. Let's go M's. All right, we got 220 in the room, 115 likes. We need 35 to get to 150, and obviously 85 to get to 200. Let's go. Trident's up. Let's go M's. Let's go. Very similar to game 1, and we have an opportunity to win with the same exact score, 3-2, unless we can go crazy with some RBIs or home runs here. And we got Ryan Stanek, who usually has meltdowns. If you remember, he was the former Mariner that wasn't good, ended up going to the Astros, and now he's here on the Cardinals. We should be able to take advantage of Stanek. He is very shaky. First pitch to JP, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, high and inside, 99 miles an hour there by Stanek. 1 ball and 1 strike to J.P. Crawford. Let's go. And again, if they keep Stanek in for the whole entire 8th, there's a good chance that we could get a couple runs. And J.P. is challenging that 1-1 pitch. That was called strike. Not sure if you're going to end up winning this call, though. Looks like it got a little bit of the corner there, and it looked like it was at least a little in the strike zone. Good call by J.P. Man, we've been good today with the ABS. Cardinals and Mariners have been killing it on the ABS so far, and that call gets overturned. Much better to be in a 2-1 count than a 1-2 count, let me tell you. Top of the 8th, we're knotted up at 2. 2-1 pitch, low and away, and now we got 2 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. Two pitch. High and inside. Count is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. And it's as even as it gets. 2 runs and 7 hits for the Mariners. 2 runs, 7 hits for the Cardinals. And both teams have no errors. It's as even as you possibly could imagine. 3-2 pitch. J.P. pops that one into left field. Out of play. Count still is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes to J.P. Crawford. And again, Stanek is very shaky. And again, I'm not sure if we're going to see O'Brien again as well. He was the one that ended up losing it for him in the 8th and the 9th. I doubt that they'll bring him back in. He does have Seattle ties that they mentioned in the pre-show, but if we can rough up Stanek, that would be great. 3-2 pitch, pops it up, and that ends up going foul. Good souvenir for that fan out there about 10 rows back. Top of the 8th inning, 2-2, Mariners and Cardinals. I mean, we've already won the series, and we won the last game against the Athletics. We're on a 3-game win streak. But again, the way that the season has gone, we need this win. We get this win, we're only 1 game below 500. And once we get above 500, we're going to be in first place in the AL West sooner than later. 3-2 pitch, great eye there by JP. And JP wants the walk, but then Herrera is going to challenge. And he already did that once early in the game and got the call flipped, but let's see what happens here. And JP does not get the walk. Herrera ends up getting another good challenge, and down goes JP, and that is 1 away. And these are the type of calls that affect games, you know, when we didn't have the ABS. So we just want to make sure it's correct. Next up is the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. On deck is Julio Rodriguez, because for every call that goes against us, we're going to get a call that's going to go in our favor at some point to make up for it. First pitch from Stanek to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. In there for a strike, 0-1 count. Got most of the team batting over 200, which is great. And Cal Raleigh with 6 home runs. So, and obviously he's not going to get anywhere near 60, but still possible to get somewhere between 30 and 45 before the year is up. Oh, 1 pitch, takes a strike looking high, but inside. 0-2 pitch, high and away to Big Dumper. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Cal Raleigh. I hear Paisley, she wants in. Yeah. Good girl. 1-2 pitch. And did he get a little piece of that? Looks like he just got a little bit of a piece. Slider, 90 miles an hour, 1 ball and 2 strikes. With nobody on and 1 out. Top of the 8th inning, we're knotted up at 2. Ryan Stanek, the former Mariner and Astro on the mound. Big Dumper in the box, who has a home run already earlier today. 1-2 pitch, low and away. Slider, 89 miles an hour there by Stanek. 2 balls and 2 strikes to the Big Dumper, Cal Raleigh. Come on, baby. We got to cash in here. Try to take this 3-2 lead. And if we can win 3-2, that'll be exactly how George Kirby won in game number 1. Win it for Dave Niehaus. Win it for Rick Riz. Let's go. Tried ends up. Let's go, Ems. 2-2 pitch from Stanek. And that is strike 3 looking on Cal. Wow. Back-to-back punch-outs on JP and Cal for a guy that is very unreliable in Stanek. That's wild. Next up, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. Let's go, J-Rod. Somebody's got to be a hero. See if Julio can get home run number 3 here. First pitch to Julio, takes a strike looking with a slider, 89 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, J-Rod. Oh, 1 pitch, crushes that one into right field, out of play. Sinker, 99 miles an hour after pitching 89 miles an hour on pitch 1. And had that golf swing home run yesterday, just like Naylor did in game 1 in the 6th. 0-2 pitch, high and away. Tried to get Julio to bite at a garbage pitch out of the zone, and he does not, thank God. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez, and I'm really proud of Julio's patience this year in 2026. It took him a few years, to be able to get to this point as a rookie in 2022, second year in 2023, 2024, 2025. Sometimes it takes, 5 to 10 years, if you play 15 to 20 to figure it out, but ABS has helped as well. 1-2 pitch, fouls that one behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Tried ends up. Let's go, Julio. Somebody's got to start a rally with 2 outs. Come on, J-Rod. Stanek, the former Mariner, on the mound. Julio in the box. 1-2 pitch, fouls it behind the plate to the Busch Stadium bricks and the State Farm sign. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 8th inning. 2-2 Mariners and Cardinals. And it definitely feels, unless you get a big 2-run jack, 3-run bomb, that the winner could end up winning this game by a run. 1-2 pitch and a dribbler towards third base and foul. Slider, 89 miles an hour there by Stanek. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. Top of the 8th. 2-2 tie between the Mariners and the Cardinals. Come on, Julio. One-two pitch, and it ends up going past the catcher, Herrera. And that is 2 balls and 2 strikes from Stanek to Julio. Two-two pitch, big swing and a miss. Down goes Julio. I'm just bamboozled. I can't believe Stanek came into the game as shaky as he is and retired JP, Cal, and Julio. That is crazy. But hopefully we'll be able to get the job done in the top of the 9th, in the middle of the order. Maybe that will be the players that will be heroes here today. But I guess every, suspect pitcher, ends up pitching well from time to time. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th inning and see who's up next here for the Cardinals. Next up for the Cardinals, 1 for 3 with a K, DHing Nolan Gorman. Batting second, 0 for 3 with 2 Ks, shortstop Mason Wynn. And batting third, as hot as they come, 2 for 3 with a run and an RBI. 2 home runs yesterday. Rob Mitch Garver of a home run defensively. Has another home run here today, Nathan Church. Got to be careful on how we pitch to him. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th inning. We're knotted up at 2. I'm going to get my pup a snack. I'll be right back. Hey, come on. Snack. Bottom of the 8th inning, we're knotted up at 2. 15 subs to go to 23,900. Let's go. Bizzardo's back out there, which is a good decision as well. All right, we're at 123 likes with 250 in the room. If we can get 27 more people, we'll be at 150. Let's go. We're at 5 on the dono train, 95 to go. First pitch from Bizzardo to Gorman. Takes a strike looking right down the middle. Sinker, 93 miles an hour, 0-1 count. And to have Bizzardo only pitch 1 pitch in the previous inning and get that ground ball out was huge. You know, getting Spire the hell out of there, you know, and bringing in someone a little bit more reliable. Oh, 1 pitch, another strike in there to Gorman. Low and away. Sweeper, 82 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes to Nolan Gorman. Just an off game, you know. Again, Wu normally is electric, but every once in a while you'll have a meltdown, and that was one of the worst outings that we've seen in his career. 0-2 pitch. Big strikeout looking there. Nice job by Bizzardo, trying to match what Stanek did in that previous inning. Nice job there by Eduard Bizzardo. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, all looking. See you later, Nolan Gorman. We needed that. Next up, 6-hole hitter, shortstop Mason Wynn. On deck, Nathan Church. Got to be careful with these 2 guys. Yeah, it's not often that Wu gives up 7 runs in the first 3 innings and we still come back and win 11-9, but that was because of Connor Joe with a 2-run RBI single in the 8th and Leo Rivas with a 2-run RBI single in the 9th. First pitch in there with a strike looking low and away, 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch, another strike looking low and at the knees, right on the line. Sweeper, 82 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes here at Mason Wynn, and Bizzardo is locked in here so far. 0-2 pitch, little dribbler, and foul towards third base. Sinker, 95 miles an hour. No balls and 2 strikes to Mason Wynn. And again, I don't care if we only win by 1 run. I want that sweep. I want the brooms to come out. We're going to have a very tough Minnesota Twin team. You know, even if their record is below 500 or above 500, it's always hard playing in Minnesota. And we'll start that series tomorrow. 0-2 pitch. Hard hit ball into right field, fading foul. Sinker, 95 miles an hour there by Eduard Bizzardo. No balls and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. Bottom of the 8th inning. We're tied up at 2. Mariners are 2 games below 500, so getting this victory would be huge. We're 1 step closer, you know, getting above 500. Slow dribbler, pass Bizzardo, throw to first, got him! Beautiful defense, man. You know, and in the games that we can't trust J.P. Crawford throwing high to Naylor, Cole Young is a fucking magician. And again, we haven't had a second baseman this good in a fucking long time. He is incredible. Offensively, defensively, it's just a joy to watch. And again, I love defense, you know, not only in baseball, but in football. You know, it really shows a lot of skill and effort. You know, obviously hitting is tough, but to be able to play great defense and save runs, that's even tougher. Huge. And that is 2 away. Next up is Nathan Church. First pitch takes a strike looking low and away. Sweeper, 82 miles an hour, 0-1 count. And I feel that Cole is going to start, you know, kind of going up, as far as fan favorites. Like obviously Cal and Julio are going to be the most popular. And then, obviously after that, there's going to be other guys like Wu that, people are going to like as maybe the third best. But I think Cole Young, if he continues, he's going to be right up there with Wu, Cal, and Julio if he's not there already. 1-1 pitch. And a deep hit ball. And Randy recovers as Julio falls down. And that is out number 3. And again, a lot of times Randy is a liability in left field on ground balls, but he bailed out Julio. Julio fell down on the play, didn't want to run into Randy, and Randy gets the clutch out, which easily could have turned into a double or a triple if they ended up colliding into each other. So thankfully we had a little bit of communication there, even though Julio fell to the ground. Randy gets the out, and now it's time to take the lead in the top of the 9th and win this game 3-2 if we can. Let's see who's up next here for the Mariners, and it's going to be the middle of the order. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 3 with 3 Ks, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And a lot of times when you end up making a good defensive play in the previous inning, if you're one of the first 3 batters up in the next inning, sometimes good things happen. Let's pray that Randy can get on with a single or a double, or even a home run. Randy Arozarena. Batting second, 0 for 3, right fielder Luke Raley. If Luke can wait to pitch 4, pitch 5, pitch 6, that could be the one that turns into a nuke or a single or a double. If he swings at the first or second pitch, he's not really figured it out in this game, 0 for 3. Work the count. And batting third, 1 for 3, DHing the Italian stallion, Dominic Canzone. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. I like our chances here in the top of the 9th inning to take the lead. Let's go. $15 subs to go to 23,900. All right, we're at 128 likes with 271 in the room, mods and others. You know what to do. We're 28 away, or 22 away from 150, 72 away from 200. Let's go. And Romero comes into the game, the lefty here for the Cardinals. First pitch to Randy Arozarena, high and away, 1-0 count. And I wonder if that means that we will not see Luke or Canzone since we have a lefty on the mound now. I see what they're doing here. A little strategy here by the Cardinal manager trying to prevent the sweep. 1-0 pitch, takes a strike looking down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike to Randy Arozarena. 1-1 pitch, hard hit ball into shallow right field, right to Jordan Walker, and that is 1 away. Jojo Romero on the mound, and Rob Refsnyder is pinch hitting for Luke Raley. Let's see if Rob can be a hero. Beginning of the year, he was terrible, but he has actually gotten better lately. Let's go, Rob. Jojo Romero on the mound, Rob Refsnyder in the box. Let's go, Rob. And then Mitch Garver is on deck. So we're going to have to utilize, the lower end guys. But let's be real, Refsnyder, Connor Joe, and Mitch Garver actually have been pretty decent lately. They've actually come up with some pretty big plays, as well as Leo Rivas and Will Wilson, the AAA stud from the Tacoma Rainiers. So let's see if we can get a little bit of magic here from Refsnyder. 0-1 pitch, fouls that one behind the plate. No balls and 2 strikes to Rob Refsnyder. And if Rob can't make it happen, hopefully Mitch can. 0-2 pitch. Low and away, but they call that strike 3, and Refsnyder is challenging, and I think he'll win this challenge. I think this is enough off the plate to be called a ball, but we'll see. Yep, way outside. Good challenge there by Refsnyder, and that would have been a cheap strikeout if we didn't have the ABS. And we know how momentum can roll in baseball, just like in any sport. Sometimes all it takes is one bad pitch to rattle a batter. 1-2 pitch. And gets a little piece of that towards third base and foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rob Refsnyder. And if this was at the beginning of the year, the chances of a Connor Joe, Rob Refsnyder, or Mitch Garver doing anything was like 0. But lately, it feels like maybe, 60% chance that something good could possibly happen out of these guys. So that's a lot better than 0. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Rob Refsnyder. 2-2 pitch from Romero, high and away. And now we got a full count, and let's see if Rob can force the walk. And that's just as good as a single, unless he can get a single himself. Best case scenario, he homers here and gives us the 3-2 lead. Come on, Rob. 3-2 pitch. Rob gets a hold of one. Deep left field. Back. Come on. Let's go. Rob Refsnyder with a big solo dinger. We're going to win this game, baby. Let's go. 3-2 Mariners. Fuck yeah. Let's go. And sometimes the worst players on your team sometimes turn into big fucking heroes. What a job by Rob Refsnyder with the ABS challenge, fighting it out and finding a way to be a fucking hero today. Way to bring the fucking electricity, Rob Refsnyder. Let's fucking go. Bring out the brooms. We want the fucking sweep. Next up is Mitch Garver. Huge. Fuck yeah. And again, that's great when you can see your lower end guys step up, and we've seen a lot of them step up in the last 5 or 6 games. Awesome. Not only for us fans, but for their confidence, physically and mentally moving forward. 0-1 pitch, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mitch Garver. And what Refsnyder did there, most batters, even our most experienced ones, wouldn't have been able to make that happen. Huge play. Awesome, man. This team is something special. And again, that breakout win yesterday definitely is carrying over here today. Pitch fouled off there by Mitch Garver. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 1 out. And if we really want to cement this victory, we need 1 more run for insurance. Having a 1-run lead is good, but we know how shaky Munoz has been. But if we can get it to 4-2, and then, 5-2, I'm not saying that we're going to get there, but obviously getting a couple runs of insurance would be great. 1-2 pitch, low and away. Change up 86 miles an hour, missing by Jojo Romero. And this meltdown that we were hoping for, we're getting it. 2-2 pitch, foul tip into the catcher's glove, Herrera. And that is 2 away. Fuck yeah, man. Let's go. Nice job, Rob. You were terrible at the beginning of the year, but you're really starting to come around. And especially when it can turn into wins for the Mariners, we're going to love you even more. Great job. Down goes Mitch Garver, unfortunately. Next batter up. Striking out swinging with 2 outs. And then another guy that has an opportunity to be a hero who ended up putting us in a position to get this game tied 2-2, Connor Joe. He ended up having a 2-run RBI single in the 8th. And then we had Leo Rivas with a 2-run RBI single in the 9th. And we scored 4 runs and won 11-9 yesterday. 0-1 pitch. Joe crushes that one into right field, out of play. It's just ironic that you have those 3 guys batting back to back to back. But again, for some teams, they're like, oh, this is easy 3 outs. But lately, those guys are not easy to get out. 0-2 pitch from Romero, low and away. Change up 84 miles an hour to Connor Joe. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs. And, good for them and good for us fans, because it sucks, being negative over guys that just can't fucking hit, can't fucking defend. And they finally are all kind of coming together at the same time, which is very rare, where you're getting kind of the lower end guys on the team all rallying together and they're all producing together. But I love it. Pitch is outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes to Connor Joe. 2-2 pitch, high and away. And let's see if we can force another walk here or potentially get a big home run out of Connor Joe. And if he hits it, it'll be in left field, no doubt. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Connor Joe. Check swing, did he go? And he does, fuck. And down goes Connor Joe. He went around. and that is out number 3. And again, we might be able to win this game with the same score that we won in game 1 with George Kirby on the mound. Let's get the brooms, let's get the sweep. But again, we need to make sure, if Munoz is coming in, it needs to be the good Mooney, not the bad. And hopefully we can find a way to win this game just like we did in game 1 with George Kirby on the mound, 3-2. And it's not like we've had very many opportunities to sweep. If anything, this year we have been the team that has gotten swept more times than not, most recently on the road against the Padres. But here in St. Louis, it's a different story, and I love it. Next up for the Cardinals in the bottom of the 9th, 1-for-2 in the 8-hole, third baseman Ramon Urias. Batting second, 0-for-3, center fielder Victor Scott II. And batting third, 1-for-4 with a run and an RBI, second baseman J.J. Weatherholt. And honestly, depending on what happens with Urias and Scott, I don't know if I would even mind, walking Weatherholt. He's a very dangerous hitter. We could definitely lose if he ends up hitting a home run. So, but again, the runners after him and Herrera, he could end up doing it as well. We just got to find a way. And we will see what happens here. We already had Bizardo in for 2 innings. Are we going to go with Andres Munoz, or are they going to bring in like a Cole Wilcox and, kind of throw a curveball out here? I mean, hopefully this is Mooney, but, you never know. Trident's up. Let's go, M's. Big home run by Rob Refsnyder, baby. And it's going to be Jose Ferrer. Christ, really? Uh-oh. And again, Jose was good yesterday, so hopefully he'll be able to be good in back-to-back games. But as we know as fans, it's tough for him most times than not. And let's pray that Jose Ferrer can pitch well here, since it's not going to be Andres Munoz. Ferrer coming in here from the Washington Nationals in that Harry Ford trade. $13 subs to go. 2 more we acquired since the commercial break. 13 to go to 23,900. Please, sports gods, don't fucking have Jose Ferrer fuck this up. First pitch to Urias. In there for a strike. That's a good sign. Sinker. 97 miles an hour there by Ferrer. And, Ferrer is usually very, very shaky, but he was good for 2 innings scoreless yesterday. 0-1 pitch. High and away. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ramon Urias. I mean, even if we have to get a double play to kind of bail him out, whatever. But it would be nice for him to get, a strikeout or 2 and then a pop-up ground out. And we don't got to worry, about having to get that desperate double play to win the game. 1-1 pitch from Ferrer. And a little blooper in the shallow left field. Randy is there. There we go. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Randy with the catch. Urias. And that is 1 away. We are 2 outs away from a sweep. Let's go. Great job there by Ferrer on that pitch. Urias flies out to shallow left, 1 away. Next up is Victor Scott, and the guy that we really need to worry about is J.J. Weatherholt, batter number 3. And they got Pozo coming in now. Pitch hitting. All right, Yohel Pozo coming in. Getting his first opportunity against the Mariners here. And hopefully we can prevent Pozo from doing anything big. Career 280 hitter, they said. First pitch from Ferrer to Pozo. Big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. And this is the, the good version of Ferrer. When you see him hitting the strike zone in the first couple pitches, and then we end up getting the cheap pop up into left to Randy. 0-1 pitch to Pozo. High and inside. Sinker 98 miles an hour there by Jose Ferrer. 1 ball and 1 strike with nobody on and 1 out. Mariners hanging on with a 1-run lead with a solo dinger by Rob Refsnyder moments ago to give us the 3-2 lead. 1-1 pitch. And a little dribbler towards third. Get it! Get it! Throw to first. Got him! Let's go! Nice job there by Leo Rivas, and I was really worried that was going to get past him. And again, ends up making a good play, gets it with the mitt. Nice, calm, cool, and collected throw to Connor Joe, our backup first baseman. Nothing wild over his head, and that is 2 away. Great job there by Leo. And now we're down to JJ Weatherholt, and we got to be careful. Now, you don't want to go down the middle on JJ. Again, he's been hot, hitting home runs pretty often against the Mariners in this series. First pitch. High and inside, sinker, 98 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, Jose. You were good yesterday. Let's be good in back-to-back days. 0-1 pitch. There we go. Another strike, low and away. Ferrer is wheeling and dealing. We haven't said that much this season. And we got an ABS challenge here by Weatherholt, but he's going to lose. Bang! Right down the middle, baby. Stupid challenge there by JJ, and hopefully that'll carry over here on the next pitch. Let's go, Mariners. And both teams have been fantastic on the ABS, winning most of the challenges today. Come on, Jose. 0-2 pitch from Ferrer to Weatherholt. Pops it up and foul. Out of play. We are 1 strike away from the Brooms and getting the sweep. And more importantly, Jose actually playing good in back-to-back games. We haven't seen that all year. Let's go. No balls and 2 strikes from Jose Ferrer to JJ Weatherholt. Let's go. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. We go on the road to Minnesota tomorrow. And I will be live. 0-2 pitch. High and away. Sinker, 98 miles an hour, a couple inches off the plate. 1 ball, strikes to JJ Weatherholt. And this version of Jose Ferrer is much better, than having 2 or 3 guys on base and hoping that he can get that last out. 1-2 pitch. Popped him up. Get it. Get it, Rivas. Yes, in foul territory. And that is it, baby. Get out the brooms. Mariners win. And get the fucking brooms. We get the sweep, baby. Bang. Turning point of the season. And again, we don't sweep that often, and this one feels really, really good. And the hero today, can you believe it? Rob Refsnyder. Unbelievable, baby. I love seeing the lower role players step up and be heroes. Man, this series feels good. Let's go. And this team is not a bad team. The Cardinals had an above 500 record, so it's not like the Cardinals were one of the bottom feeders. It's hard to win when you're the worst team on the road, but we're not the worst team on the road anymore, baby. Let's go. We only had 1 win on the road prior to this series, and boom, we collect 3 in a row. 4 wins in a row if you go back to that Athletic game. Let's go, baby. Win streaks are fun. We'll go over the stats here in a moment. Final score, Seattle Mariners 3, St. Louis Cardinals 2. And when the Mariners win, what do? We fucking dance. Mariners win. Fuck yeah, let's go. Edward Bizardo with the win. And Jose Ferrer with a fucking save. Are you kidding me? Maybe they'll actually have some good Mariner photos for me to be able to post up. And what a job by Rob Refsnyder. You are the MVP. Great job. Home runs by Cal Raleigh as well, and big plays by Connor Joe and Cole Young. This one feels amazing. Let's go. Let's go over the stat line here, winning them by the same score that we did with George Kirby in game number 1. We'll start off with the Cardinals. So JJ Weatherholt, this guy is a stud, 1 for 5 with a run and a home run. Ivan Herrera, 1 for 3. Alec Burleson had a really rough series against the Mariners. I don't know if he even got a hit all series. He went 0 for 4 today. Jordan Walker, 1 for 2. Nolan Gorman, 1 for 4. Mason Wynn with a very rare 0 for 4. Nathan Church was one of the hottest hitters and continued his hot streak today, 2 for 4 with a run and a home run and an RBI. Had 2 home runs yesterday and robbing Mitch Garver of a home run, but it wasn't enough. Ramon Urias, 1 for 3, and then Victor Scott the second, and then Pozo going 0 for 1 there late, and we definitely needed that. And let's go over the stats here for the Seattle Mariners. Rick Riz loves it. The Northwest Sports Fanatics, we fucking love it. JP Crawford with a rare 0 for 4. That will be different when we play the Twins. Cal Raleigh, 1 for 4 with a big solo dinger and an RBI. We needed that. Julio Rodriguez going 1 for 4. A rare 0 for 4 trip for Randy. 0 for 3 for Luke. Rev Snyder comes in and ends up getting the job done, and Luke probably wouldn't have been able to home run against a lefty, so it worked out. Dominic Canzone ends up going 1 for 3. Mitch Garver, 0 for 1. Connor Joe, 1 for 4 with that big double to get us going with Cole Young knocking him in. Going for 2 for 3 with a RBI. And then Leo Ribas going 1 for 3. Awesome job. And even though Emerson Hancock wasn't able to get the win, we end up winning the series and getting the sweep. And this one feels fucking fantastic. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Feels good, you know, especially when you get on a nice win streak. 4 in a row. Let's go. Tridents up. Let's go, M's. Seriously, you know, especially when we've gone through, you know, getting swept and losing 4 or 5 in a row. You know, this is what Mariner baseball is all about, you know, and obviously it took a while, you know, to be able to find our rhythm, but now we're only 1 game below 500. And I'm telling you, you know, sooner than later, we're going to be in first place in the AL West. And this really rough start is going to be in our rear view mirror. Let's go. Bash with a 20. Appreciate you. Every dollar counts. Got to take my pup to the vet. Got to take care of the internet, the streaming fee, and Mariners TV. So again, everything helps for me to be able to continue this dream. No problem. Appreciate you. Right? Let's go. Final score, Seattle Mariners 3, St. Louis Cardinals 2. And I got one question for you. Who you know talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics. And this one, make sure you cherish it. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm going to watch a little Blazers and Spurs in the playoffs. Wemby is back. A little Talladega. Spend some time with my pup. Go for a walk. Eat some lunch. And again, we'll be live tomorrow starting with the Minnesota Twins on the road. And it's not going to be easy. But again, we have to feel pretty confident with a 4-game win streak. Can you believe that, Mariner fans? 4 in a row. Yesterday's win was the springboard win of the season. And it's carrying over against Minnesota on the road in a 3-game set. And then after that, we come home and celebrate Randy Johnson in Seattle against the Royals on my birthday. And then we end up playing the Atlanta Braves. And that's going to be a fucking tough matchup. Love you guys and appreciate you guys. Enjoy your weekend. Final score, Mariners 3, Cardinals 2. Get out the brooms and get the sweep. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Tridents up and go Mariners.